guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday, which means it's time for a Talk Magic. This is a very special episode of Talk Magic, because normally I do these things over Zoom, and I'm speaking to somebody on the other side of the world. Today, two things are happening. First of all, I'm not doing it Zoom. I'm doing it live in person. Second of all, I'm interviewing two people in one. I'm kind of doing a 2-for-1 here. I'm all the way over today in Columbus, Ohio, at the home of Penguin Magic, and I'm going to be interviewing two people. Now, I'm going to introduce them, then I'm going to get them to say hi. The first person that I'm interviewing is probably one of the most powerful people in Magic. I'm talking about Shaun Dunn. Shaun basically pretty much co-runs the whole of Penguin Magic, and is the person that, if you put it this way, if you want to have a product through Penguin Magic, it's Shaun Dunn that you have to convince that it's a good product. He literally manages thousands of artists. He knows more people and is better connected in Magic than anyone I know. Very good friend of mine, fantastic magician as well. If you've seen his Penguin live or you've seen any of the stuff that he's created, you'll know he's brilliant. On top of that, also to the left of me, you have Chris Hanowell. Now, Chris Hanowell, social media magician, social media megastar, has been creating magic and releasing magic with companies like Penguin Magic for years and years and years. As well as that, works with Penguin Magic. If you've ever used the online Penguin chat, there's a pretty good chance that the person you've been speaking to is Chris. He handles a lot of that side of things, which is a massive job in its own right, as well as performing all over the place. One of the busiest performers in Columbus, Ohio. Just gigging all of the time, like super busy, and an incredibly funny magician as well. And Chris and Shaun have known each other for years, and I'm going to be speaking to both of them and pulling the curtain back a little bit on Penguin Magic, asking them a few questions about the history behind Penguin Magic, how these guys met up, and a bunch of other stuff. This is going to be a very exciting Talk Magic. But first of all, here you go. Chris Hanowell, Shaun Dunn, say hello to the internet.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
Yeah, that was a good take. That was all one take, dude.
All one take. That's
one take Drake.
That's all we're doing, man. So, first of all, it's quite late. Thank you so much for coming on the channel.
Yes, it's fine.
Really, I know you've both been working all day.
Yeah. I've just been typing and tapping.
I've been
stacking and papping.
I have a question for you.
Of course.
You think this is the most weight this couch has ever had?
I think it is.
This is three boys. Three big boys.
I know that this couch is directly over the basement, and I'm worried that halfway through this interview, we're going south for the winter. Like, we really are.
If somebody had a bald, fat magician fetish, like, this is going on rewatch over and over and over again.
And there is somebody there that has got a bald, fat magician fetish. You can put it straight in your spank bank.
I know her. She's great. Anyway.
Yeah. Cake chaser.
Yeah, that's what they're called.
Have you heard that?
Ever heard that term?
I've never heard of cake chasers.
Somebody that likes magicians. They're into magicians.
Yeah,
they're a cake chaser.
Why have I never met these people?
I didn't create the term. I think somebody else did, but I don't know if they want me to name their name.
Okay.
Yeah, we wouldn't want to dox people.
Well, there you go. Now we know.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a term.
The magicians have them, so for any of you magicians, there is hope.
If you're a cape chaser or married to a cape chaser, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, put me in the comments.
I think I'm going to see. I can see where this interview is going. I can see it. Yeah. I can see exactly where this is going. But I'm going to try. I know this is just going to be a complete shit show. I know it is, but I'm going to try and do the best that I can and making this go as smoothly as possible. And you know what? The reason I wanted to speak to both of you guys is obviously you two have been very good friends for years and years.
Yeah.
You do a show together.
Yes.
So Shaun and Chris do a show together, as well as obviously working with Penguin Magic. They're both busy professional magicians. And you guys have kind of been linked for so long within this industry.
Yeah, exactly.
We're tight bros.
Yeah.
This is my uncle.
Now, Now, I've interviewed people on this channel before from Penguin Magic. I've interviewed Nick, I've interviewed Eric, a few different people.
Yeah, yeah.
But I've never actually talked to anybody about the history of Penguin Magic.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, Penguin is the world's largest magic shop. Probably the second largest magic wholesaler.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know where it came from, where it started. I want to talk about that, but first of all, I want to ask both of you a question, because obviously you didn't come out the womb knowing each other. You didn't come out the womb immediately like doing magic. So before we even start talking about Penguin Magic and your journey into becoming like Penguin Magic, let's talk about how you got into magic. And let's start with you, Shaun. So what is your origin story?
Okay.
How did you get into magic?
So it's a little bit complicated.
We got all the time in the world.
Couple of minutes. Okay. So I was, when I was younger, after church on the weekends, went to church on Fridays and met with some men, like a men's Bible study, and afterwards we went out to like a late night diner just to kind of hang out.
Yeah. Was it Blue Dan News?
Shoot the shit and everything. We can cuss on here.
Yeah, of course,
Okay,
yeah.
They can say fuck.
Maybe not when I'm talking about the Bible.
yeah. Regular shit.
But anyway, we went to this late night diner. We were to a place called Dan's Drive-In in Columbus, Ohio, and we were just hanging out. And there was a guy that was not part of our group that was just there that some people in the group knew, and he was talking about. I mean, we just got done with Bible study, so it was like spiritual discussions, and the concept of the Antichrist came out.
Okay.
Yeah. And they were talking about this guy named David Blaine, this guy was. And I didn't know who David Blaine was, and at that time in my life, I kind of didn't really know what magic was. I didn't really, because I had to look up like sleight of hand. I hadn't seen any magic tricks.
Okay.
So I didn't watch it from the point of view of thinking that this person was a magician. I just thought, okay, this guy's like one of these like psychics or something like that. That's what I thought I was watching. So
I suppose if you've never been around magic before, or you've never really seen a magician, that would be the stuff that he did when David Blaine was first hitting the scene. I could see that. I could see that assumption being made.
Yeah, because
especially that he like performs his own monotone, like he's not telling jokes.
Yeah.
It makes it a little more real. You know?
My idea of magician was probably like what I saw on the Disney Channel as a kid. Mickey Mouse doing magic. I didn't know anything about magic. And if I had to define it, it would probably be something with a box or a lady floating in the air or something like that. It's what normal lay people.
Siegfried and Roy.
Yeah. So we were talking about, David Blaine came up, and this guy was explaining, and they started talking about like that he floats, and I'm like, what? Obviously this camera editing all this stuff. He's like, no, dude, you got to see the reactions of the people. They're not faking it. They're it's real.
Yeah.
So like a year goes by, I'm at Blockbuster Video, and my spot was the my section was the documentary section.
Yeah.
And David Blaine's VHS tape was there.
Wow.
And I rented it. It was the David Blaine Magic Man thing, which is this. I'm not always very. I can be a little dumb sometimes. So the VHS was like, it said Magic Man was a special. I still don't put two and two together that the guy was a magician, because I had never seen magic like that before. I didn't know that magic like that existed. So I had that tape, and I just I kept it in my car, and I would show it to other people. I showed it to Mandy, who I'll bring up later, and I just was super excited about magic, and I had the idea. I was like, you know what? I could use magic tricks to help my sales career, like giving out a business card, like in a magical way or something.
Yeah. Because you were doing a lot of sales at the time, weren't you? Your background is sales.
Yeah. So I just wanted to give out my business card in a memorable way. So I looked and I bought David Blaine's book, and they talked about. In the book, he talks about the Winston Churchill example. Winston Churchill is a political figure from England that
Oh yeah, I've heard of him. Yeah, I'm aware of Winston
Yeah.
Churchill. Yeah.
Yeah. Was he a magician or something?
Well, there's this. They tell the
Do you not
story.
know Winston Churchill?
Did he compete?
No, he was the Prime Minister of. He was
Yeah.
Prime Minister of England during the war, during World War II.
I honestly, if
And-
you told me that Winston Churchill was a magician, I'd be like, yeah.
It sounds like a magician. He was responsible for basically people. He was a big reason for the war being won.
He's
Okay.
He's got this very famous thing. He says, "Never in the field of human conflict have so many done so much for so few," or something like that.
I get Winston Churchill and Alfred Hitchcock mixed up for some reason.
Well, they do have a similar look.
They have a similar
Yeah.
yeah.
So anyways, I read that story and about him witnessing Out of This World and leaving completely. I think the words were befogged.
Yeah.
Befogged?
Which I've never used. I actually might be the first time I ever said that word before.
Befogged.
Befogged. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good word.
Look it
That's
up.
crazy. It's a wild
Look it
word.
up.
It's a good word.
Befrogged.
Befogged.
Which is a completely
Anyway,
different
cheers.
thing.
Cheers.
Anyway. So I was like, I want to do that trick. That's the trick I wanted to do. So I found a local magician doing restaurant magic who eventually worked for Penguin, strangely enough.
That's crazy.
Unrelated to me at all or anything, but and he said, well, you should just go to a magic shop and buy Paul Harris's book. Galaxy is the
Did you go to
version
Haynes?
that I recommend. So I bought his book. I learned that trick and I did it a lot. And then I started doing magic.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into magic.
That's kind of interesting. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
That's a lot of the time when I interview people on this channel, they talk about, I had an uncle pull a coin from behind my ear when I was 3 years old or something. It's interesting to see somebody who didn't get into it until sort of later on in life.
Yeah, it makes sense. I purely got into magic for financial reasons, like in working with sales, and then I got my career in the magic production business very short, believe it or not, probably maybe 6 months after I learned my first trick. We started the magic company Paper Crane, Mandy.
Well, let's talk about that, and then because
please, I wanna hear about
because
the
you,
story.
Chris, you kind of came into the story once
Way later.
Shaun and Penguin were kind of together, right?
Yeah, way
So
later.
if we just hold off on you for a minute,
Yeah,
just so we can get to Shaun and Penguin Magic.
I'm shaking
in order to understand what Shaun's about to tell you, I hope you don't mind me saying.
Yeah.
There's another. So I said that Shaun basically co-runs Penguin Magic. He does with Mandy Roth. So and Mandy is somebody who you probably have walked past at a magic convention, and you've paid her no attention. And I'm telling you right now, she is the most powerful woman in magic.
Oh, absolutely.
One of the most powerful people in magic. And you guys make you and Mandy make a great team. Like, I think a lot of the artists that come into Penguin, they don't get to meet Mandy. I mean, I didn't get to meet Mandy until I started working the booth at Magic Live.
Yeah.
I was really just working with you. Mandy does a lot of the behind the scenes thing, but you and Mandy are a little bit like Captain America and Iron Man. The two of you kind of, right, and you have your different roles. So so if we reverse backwards from this, if we say it's you and Mandy that are at the top of Penguin here that are kind of making everything happen, how did you and Mandy get to that position? Now, you have known Mandy for a long time, right?
Yeah, I've known Mandy. We've been really good friends best friends since we were 15 years old. So we've known each other for over 30 years at this point.
Wow.
But I started getting into magic and watching these instructional videos and everything, and then I just kind of realized, I was like, well, the production value on these tapes, the content's really great, but it's not really. There really wasn't anything that was artistic or that just looked great and looked cool.
Yeah, there's just too many bridge cards.
Bridge cards?
Yeah, there's too many bridge cards.
Oh, you're like an illusionist?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I always cry. I like bridge cards actually. I've never used them, but I had one in my hands the other day. I was like, this actually feels really great.
Yeah, for like a kid or something.
So there was the bridge card. Actually, that was kind of funny you mentioned that, because when I talked to Mandy and I was like, hey, if we started a company that made magic videos, right, we would be the best.
What was Mandy doing at the time? You were in sales. What was she doing at the time?
I think she was working for the church that we were going to.
But she's got a background in
video production.
Yeah.
So when we were in high school, we would make videos together and make like short horror films and comedy videos and stuff like that.
And also, Mandy, if you guys remember Paper Crane.
Well, we're going to get to that.
We're going to get
to
she made all that music. So if you remember all that music, you might not know that Mandy made all that.
Like the early paper. So we started a company called Paper Crane together because I was able to convince her that we would be like top tier production values from day one, and I was able to convince her that I was able to get clients and things like that, which I just believed in myself. I didn't really know that I could.
Well, you're I've known you very, very well for many years now.
Yeah.
You're incredible at sales.
Yeah.
Like, you're incredible at sales, and that's one thing that you do so well. And you and Mandy working together with Paper Crane was huge. Now, for people that have been in magic maybe for like less than 10 years, you probably won't have heard of Paper Crane. But when you said that you and Mandy set up a company and you'd be the best. You were. Paper Crane was the best, and this is
production value.
So when I was how Paper Crane came onto my radar is I was doing the Wizard product review with David Penn at the time.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we were reviewing all of this stuff, and there was a lot of trash that was coming in. And then all of a sudden we had these incredible videos that were coming. Function 9, Kayla Morelli.
Yeah.
That was the very first 100% that me and Dave both gave to a product.
Oh yeah.
Treachery of Tricks, the Minotaur. There's so many. Every single. I'm not just saying this because you're sitting here. Every single Paper Crane release that came out, me and Dave raved about it, and it was one of the, if not the only production company that we would rave about because we knew that the quality was going to be really good. And I'll never forget. Me and Dave came up with the whole term, which we used for years. The Paper Crane moments, because a lot of Paper Crane's tricks, or a lot of the DVDs that you produced, you had to do an arts and craft thing to make it work. So it was like, right, okay, now you've got to do this, and we were like, right, okay, so it's another Paper Crane moment.
Yeah. Well, with Paper Crane, I remember looking at the website, the Wizards magic site, their magic shop site.
Wizard product.
Wizard product review. It was the Wizard product review. Now it's the Wizard magic review.
What was the website? What was their website? Their store
Wizard Effects.
Wizard Effects. Okay.
Effects, yeah.
And they would put like which trick was the trick of the week, and then but I counted them all up, and I was like, we won trick of the week way more than any other company.
I didn't notice that. Yeah. I didn't notice that. I believe that though.
I mean, I stopped paying attention at some point. Something changed with that show, and I just stopped watching it for some reason.
I don't know. The charismatic guy left.
It seems like something happened.
So
everyone stopped watching.
During what most people would say the golden era of that show.
Yeah. Like I was like probably 11, 12 years old watching you.
Now
those are great. I watched them every single
Wednesday. Yeah. Typed it.
Yeah, it was a phenomenon. You know, I mean, it was. I had so much fun doing it as well.
So let me ask you this: like, do you think that now that there's so many like people like yourself and other reviewers out there, like back then, you guys were the only ones doing it.
Yeah.
So it was the magic community's one thing to go to get what the new product is. Now there's so many reviewers, it seems like it's kind of diluted. Like it's not. It is
a bit. I think that what people should do now is watch more than one review show, but also it depends what you want out of a review show. So if you want somebody who's going to unbox the trick and tell you what you're going to get in the box, but be kind of generally positive about everything, Magic Orthodoxy is the way to go.
Back then, though, if you gave something a great review
Mm-hmm.
or a shitty review, it impacted sales dramatically. Like,
Yeah.
It really mattered. Whereas I think now, even though you have your own review shows, and it does help the product, especially when they're your products, because you can really dive in deep. But I don't think there's a single reviewer now that
No.
everybody says, yeah, I trust this person.
No.
Magic Orthodoxy and
It's all fake news.
Yeah, all of it's fake news.
Yeah.
I don't believe any of it. Yeah, Magic Orthodoxy, maybe you are the only two that I people know about. But other than that, people are just like, yeah, well, give me free stuff. Just kidding. Probably not.
Well, that's the, without getting too deep into that. A lot of reviewers will ask for free stuff all the time.
Yeah.
I buy everything that I review.
Yeah, you do.
And I could ring you up and say, send me a load of stuff. And I know you would, but I never have.
Yeah.
Same with Murphys. I could ring up Murphys and say, guys, send me a bunch of stuff, and they would, but I never have, because I want to be able to give an objective review without actually knowing that I kind of feel that I have to give it a good review because I've been sent it. So
that makes a lot of sense. You also feel the weight of losing $20.
Yeah.
So, and if you feel like those $20 are put towards something that is,
it gives you a right to be pissed.
Yeah.
You spend some money on it.
But I can genuinely say we never got mad at a paper crane product. In fact, I'll never forget when Matt Mello's DVD Modern Mentalism.
that's a banger.
Oh, it's an amazing thing.
There
was that A-can on there, the McCann.
Oh, I love it.
And I went and showed it to David Berglass, and I got him to turn around and say, "This is one of the best A-cans I've seen to date." Well, I thought he said today, but he said today.
I remember that. Yeah.
And I remember going on with some product review and saying, "There you go, paper crane. You're welcome. I expect to create a beer." And this is how sharp you and Mandy were. Before the next week,
Mandy.
Was this Mandy?
It was all
Before the next week's show, we had a crate of beer delivered with love from Paper Crane.
Yeah.
And
good beers.
And it was amazing beers. It was great beers.
Yeah.
And that, me and Dave made a big deal of it. We opened the beers on the show, and it was stuff that Paper Crane did like that. That really set them apart. That and the fact that you had artists on.
Yeah.
Like everybody had Jay Sankey on. Everybody had Richard Sanders on. But you were getting people like
Dan Haas.
Dan Haas.
Yeah.
Speaking of Dan, did you ever review
Restless?
Downfall?
Downfall. I think you did. Yeah.
That probably got a bad review.
It got
but
bad.
it's actually good.
I actually remember that. I said it was very impractical. I said it did what it said it was meant to do on the tin.
Yeah.
But it was very, very impractical in terms of method.
Oh, for sure.
If you're not familiar with that, it's Downfall by Dan House. And then originally when we released the product, so it's a telekinesis effect, moving objects and things like that.
You know what Dan would mind?
The method was ridiculous.
The method is hilarious. It's honestly
work.
It works. It's good.
That's the point. That's the point we made on the show. The method works. If you were doing a show,
it's good.
If you were doing a TV show and you wanted to do this PK
I think someone
effect,
did.
Yeah, I could imagine it would. I could imagine somebody going on AGT now,
Actually,
and doing this and killing with it.
You remember the show? It was on USA. It was about some guy who was a con artist or something.
Yeah,
Oh,
The
yeah,
Mentalist.
yeah.
That was not The Mentalist, something else. But
It was on one of the CBS
one of
shows.
those USA shows that are I don't watch, right? But they did that trick on the show. It revealed the method, and it was kind of clever too.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'd love to tell people what the method is because it's ridiculous.
I feel like Dan Haas
You can
wouldn't
tell.
care.
I don't even know if we sell it.
It was
I don't think it's-
basically the way that it was advertised. This rock was moving, right? That was one of the things.
A cement
cinder block.
Cinder block. That's it.
Moved
Cinder block.
like this all the way to here and then fell off the table.
That's cool.
And it is cool.
Really,
it's amazing. The method is you take a piece of ice and you put it under the cinder block, and so it slowly melts.
It just melts, and it's cool, and it works.
It does look good.
Everyone watching this is going to be like, "That's great."
Because
they didn't pay for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Did you get backlash from that then?
We got tons, and it's
That was the
sold like
one.
crazy, and the backlash got drove so many sales. People were pissed about the cinder block, which actually the cinder block was the easiest setup. It was the easiest one to film and do and everything. Due to the nature of ice and heat and melting, like it can, you never know how the thing is going to fall or whatever.
Yeah.
But we got real, actual live performances and things, and we didn't feel bad about it even when we got the backlash because it was a $15.
And it's also good, like, dude, imagine you're just like at a restaurant, you chew up some ice, put it there, now I gotta make a dang cup move. That's pretty
You know,
cool.
sometimes
Like, imagine if like
backlash
imagine if we can make this cup move.
Now,
right
I will say, that's the basic secret. Dan actually used to do this trick, so on the DVD, if you do want to buy it, it shares a lot of more final detail. But it is technically an impromptu trick. Maybe in the truest sense of the word. Like, it's kind of like, who's the old guy that was famous for improv? Was it Mellini that did?
Yeah.
It seems like something he would do, you know?
Because it's ice.
It's a clever method. It's a very clever method. It really is.
Yeah.
But you know, sometimes backlash, controversy.
Don't get me started on ice, all right?
All right, I'm trying not to.
Let's get political.
Controversy doesn't necessarily be a bad thing. You know, it will drive sales. You know, Eric Bischoff famously said, "Controversy creates cash." I mean, if something's controversial, people will buy it just to check it out. Look at the atomic deck as a perfect example, right?
Which I don't get why there was controversy with that person.
Well,
let's that'll be a fun conversation.
We'll revisit that one before the interview's over. Definitely revisit that one.
And I'm being serious, I don't get the controversy.
I will tell you later on in the interview exactly why it was controversial. I will spell it out for you because I think I know.
Yeah.
But to reverse, so Paper Crane getting the biggest names. You're the company that introduced Kayla Morelli to the magic world. Yeah. Just the best of the best, building big names, and then all of a sudden, Paper Crane vanished.
Yeah.
So, and you were riding high, like you very quickly became the go-to product. Because when Paper Crane happened, it was at about the same time that L&L had disappeared.
Yeah.
Things were changing in the magic industry. Sure. Up until that point, L&L were the big company. They bought out a DVD every month, and that was the thing that everybody watched. And Paper Crane coming along coincided with the rise of Illusionist, the start of Penguin Magic, where there was more content and there was more magic being brought out all of the time. Mm-hmm. It was very edgy, going along with the whole David Blaine thing and the Chris Angel thing. Yeah. It was all very, very edgy. And you very quickly established yourself as being one of the top production companies in magic, and then vanished. What happened?
Well, so I got a phone call out of the blue from Ajar, the owner of Penguin Magic.
We should just very quickly backtrack for a minute. So Ajar runs Penguin Magic. He'd already set... Penguin was a thing before.
Yeah. He founded it, and one thing about Penguin... I don't think people remember this or realize this, and the reason why Penguin was so smart... they had the genius idea that was like staring everybody in the face. Let's just make demos of everything.
Yeah,
so you can see what the product looks like.
And it was Oz Bowman. And
J. Noble Lozada.
J. Noble Lozada. They were just filming content, and this is before you got involved. They were filming content constantly. They were coming up with stuff like Let There Be Coins, Sponge. You know, they were there, and that's really what put Penguin on the map.
I've been in magic shops multiple times back in the day where a customer would ask about a product, and then they would pull up the web on a desktop computer or whatever and pull up Penguin's site so the customer could see the trick.
Wow.
You know, like, because nobody was doing that.
And it's crazy. People have been in magic for a few years now, be listening to this and going, yeah, that's standard. No, it wasn't standard. Video demos were very unheard of. Paper Crane were doing video demos for everything.
Yeah.
Illusionists were, Penguin were, but that's pretty much about it.
Penguin was the originator, in my opinion, of like, hey, everything has a demo.
Right.
Yeah.
They kind of made that a thing that was a must-have for.
And the other thing is, Penguin also had that family-friendly vibe to them. Like Illusionist, it was Illusionist and Penguin back in the day that were kind of at the same level. And Illusionist were very dark and very mysterious,
Right.
and very kind of eyeliner and that sort of thing. Well, Penguin were like, "Hey, I'm Oz, I'm Jay," you know, and it was kind of like, you know, it was a freaking bird, you know, that was that was the thing, born to perform, and that, you know, it was that sort of thing. Yeah,
It's very, very
lighthearted,
very wholesome, and
like not trying to be cool, just being cool.
No, cool.
Yeah.
Cool is, the problem with trying to be cool is that time moves on and the video stays. So like even at Paper Crane, like we always wanted our videos to be timeless. Like if you watch the Paper Crane videos now, they still look good. Or,
they do.
Or the concept behind the demo still is relevant.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah.
So Ajar set up Penguin Magic. It was running along at the same time as Paper Crane.
So he contacted me.
And you got contacted by Ajar.
Yeah.
Because he is a magician.
Yeah.
So Ajar is a magician. He does magic. He's released magic.
Yeah,
you wouldn't really realise it. He doesn't put his name on it, but he has released magic.
I wonder who it is.
He's
I
released
wonder.
several really good selling tricks.
Yeah.
Very smart guy. And they started it in their dorm room, which I thought was kind of cool. The college dorm room. Him and
Maxwell Murphy.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with Murphy's magic.
Nothing. That's why the conspiracy theories started back in the day.
Right.
Everyone thought that Penguin was actually Murphy's, and we heard that for years. But anyway, Jar called me up, said they liked our products, wanted to buy directly from us, and we were like, "This is a great idea. Let's do this." And then we worked so closely together with Penguin, and we just liked working with them. And then we just merged with Penguin to start this new label, I guess you could say, of P3 Magic.
Yeah, because up until you and Mandy becoming part of Penguin, they didn't produce much of their own stuff. It was kind of here and there occasionally.
Yeah.
But they didn't really produce that much stuff.
No.
And by acquiring Paper Crane, and therefore you and Mandy, and all your back catalogue, they also had access to all of your studios in Columbus, because the P3 Theatre that you know now, if you've ever seen a Penguin live, you've seen the P3 Theatre, state of the art. That was part of Paper Crane, wasn't it? That's where a lot of the Paper Crane stuff was filmed.
Yeah.
So obviously by acquiring Paper Crane, they got the building that you now know as the P3 Theatre. They got you, they got Mandy, and they got the entire Paper Crane back catalogue, right? Which is amazing.
It's massive.
Yeah, because and we see things being released from there. Like just last year, you got me to redo McCann, which blew up. You know, because you've got access to all of that older material, which is fantastic. So, was it a difficult decision to kind of go, all right, we're going to stop doing Paper Crane, and we're going to go work for somebody, because this is your own company. It's kind of like, you know, it's like you and Mandy running this thing. You make all the decisions. But now you're being put into a situation where you have to work for yourself. You have to work with somebody else. Yeah. You're answerable to another person now.
It wasn't difficult at all, because it was just such a fun idea presented by Ajar to just have this, do something completely new, put out lectures, do the Penguin Lives, have like the downloads. You know, that was the kind of the thing that I think we weren't the first to do downloads. We were the first to make downloads a thing. Like, you know, we released 2 or 3 a week for a long time before the pandemic. So
I got a couple downloads.
Oh,
yeah. So it wasn't hard. It wasn't a hard decision at all. It was. We were super excited about it. It was fun.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So then, Paper Crane ceased to exist, and you and Mandy then started running Penguin. Well, not running Penguin, because obviously that's a job, but you're basically effectively running the day-to-day operations.
Make the gears work.
You and Mandy are basically responsible for everything, and Ajar just says, he's there. Put it this way, I've been the Penguin Magic Creator of the Year 3 years in a row. I've released more magic through Penguin than any other production company. I don't think there's many artists that have released as many tricks through Penguin as I have. I've never met Ajar. So ever, like, or even spoken to him. I couldn't pick the guy out of a lineup. So,
it's like he's like Hal from 2001: Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
like it's the disembodied voice at the end of Charlie's Angels. You know,
I was thinking Charlie's
it's Charlie. It's
Yeah.
Charlie. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes us the Angels, right?
Yeah. We're some angels. We're very angelic
Yeah,
boys.
there's three of them.
Yeah.
So-
This couch is a lot like that.
The carbohydrate angels. You know.
The angels.
Now, I'm gonna get to you in 1 second, Chris. I want to ask you
Yeah,
one
no,
more
take your
question.
time.
first,
I'm
because
enjoying Shaun
very,
Dunn.
very soon these stories are going to merge together.
Yeah.
However, what I'm going to say is, up until you becoming part of Penguin very quickly became the #1 magic shop in the world. And there's no, and it's in part for very many different reasons. But Penguin, they still are now. But when you joined Penguin, they were the #1 magic shop in the world. What you and Mandy have been able to do is turn Penguin not only into the #1 magic shop in the world, but also probably the top production company in the world as well.
Absolutely, but
Yeah.
top production.
Yeah, there's nobody who
No.
releases the amount of magic that Penguin release. Like, if you look at the Penguin website and you look at the P3 products, every week a minimum of 1 trick comes out.
Every week, yeah.
That doesn't even take into consideration the Penguin Lives, that doesn't take into consideration the downloads or anything like that. The amount of physical products that you have coming out is absolutely incredible. And you've also become, like I said earlier, the second biggest wholesaler in magic as well. Because
Probably, yeah.
because I can't think of anybody else who matches the amount of stuff that you wholesale.
No, I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, well, I can't think of another. I can't think of another, which is kind of an interesting thing because I mentioned this on a video the other day. When it comes to Murphy's Your Magic, you're their biggest competitor when it comes to being a wholesaler, but you're also their biggest customer.
Yeah,
Because you're a magic shop and you buy more of their stuff than anyone else. That's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
That you're their biggest competitor and their biggest customer. I mean, you wouldn't find that in any other industry. That's bonkers to me. And then
Magic for that one.
that happened and that came about because of you. So when you and Mandy came on board with Penguin Magic, did you have a game plan? Did you right, we're going to turn this into a huge production company, we're going to get artists from all over the world to work with us? Like, what was the plan? This is a big undertaking, right?
I mean, that was kind of the plan, to just get started right away and start fast and produce work with a lot of the people that we just always wanted to work with that we didn't have the reach to get to them. So that was another reason why joining Penguin was such a great idea for us. We were like, now we'll be able to work with Danny Garcia and all these other people that we just weren't big enough at the time to do, you know? Because back then, like, weird thing about the magic industry is like, so the single trick thing was like a new thing, right?
Yeah, because even when Paper Crane were producing stuff, you were doing multi-effect DVDs.
Yeah. And I read this interview with Richard Kaufman and Wayne Halcyon, right? Mm-hmm. Like, Wayne is somebody I really respect and still do. And Richard Kaufman asked Wayne Halcyon, why would someone buy a single trick DVD when they can buy a book for $35, the same cost, and get 20 to 50 different routines, right? And I heard a lot of people saying that, because that was kind of the thought process when you released products back then, was just put as much stuff in it, right? Which is, I guess you're still doing to this day.
I think I've turned the industry back a little bit to those times.
And it's weird, because I know a lot of the British companies still do that.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, maybe it's just a British thing or whatever. But they asked, Richard Kaufman asked Wayne that question, and Wayne's answer was, why would you sell your life's work for $35? And I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, you know what, like, the industry, when we started, they were so far back in the dark ages, it seems like, with like how to value certain tricks and the single tricks.
For sure.
Yeah. So
they thought that like making multiple trick DVDs would sell it more, and be like, oh, I'm gonna get a lot of value for this. And now in a day where you can't really do that one, DVDs now it's like a whole different thing. But you want to value your art correctly.
Of course. And back then, like, you had people like Danny Garcia, like, which released one product, and he was like instantly like rock star.
Yeah.
Because everybody had access to watching the trailers, and the productions values were starting to go up. So anyway,
like Wayne Houch and Danny Garcia, rock stars.
Yeah. So we worked with
rock
the
stars.
biggest magic company. So we were like, yeah, now we can get in contact with all these people that wouldn't give us the time of day, because back then some of those guys that were putting out products really were, everybody wanted to work with them, so that it was like, you know, they could choose whoever had the best deal or whatever, you know. So,
yeah
anyway, so what easy decision, long answer, easy decision.
Yeah, I can imagine it was. And you know, you've taken it, and we'll talk about this in a bit, you've taken it to an entire other level. One of the things that you've done is, obviously, I think you were the first company to do lives, you know, the Penguin lives have become iconic with Penguin. Now you see Vanishing Inc. doing masterclasses, and you see a variety of different people doing stuff. And but it was really the Penguin lives that was the first thing.
Yeah, there was another company that did some streaming lectures, but it was small. There was only a few of them, and it wasn't to the level of Penguin, where we had live audiences, and now we have theater performances with live, real people. You know, not just a group of magicians watching or whatever. Having the interviews with Dan Harlan. I mean, I don't know if people remember. I've hosted probably 10 Penguin Lives. They're terrible. I'm the worst interviewer.
I think my conception of you before knowing you was, one, True Astonishments, and two, the lectures, because you hosted the first couple.
That you saw?
Yeah,
I did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it was like the first 10 at least. You were in there a good number of times.
Yeah. It wasn't good for the brand.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
well, actually, that's.
I'm just not. It's not what I'm good at. You know.
Yeah.
So,
But I tell you what, that brings up a thing. One thing that I noticed is, and I don't know if it was done intentionally or if I've got the time frame completely wrong, when you and Mandy became Penguin Magic, it felt like the faces of Penguin Magic changed. Up until that point, it was Oz Perlman and Jay Noblezada, but it very quickly became Dan Harlan and really Rick Lax.
Yeah, Rick Lax was.
It was Rick Lax. It was and those videos that Rick was doing when he was just in a coffee shop and he just had his headphones on, and he was taking tricks that Penguin had released years ago, and like coming up with new ways of doing it.
Right.
That really, even to this day, was an inspiration for what I do. Like I love doing that sort of thing, and it was watching Rick do that that really kind of inspired me to do the sort of stuff I did.
And what was interesting about him is that he kind of went and like, okay, look, I'm doing stripped down low production values, and that can be just as effective as the fancy.
And it was extremely effective.
Yeah.
It was extremely effective.
Because
the thing is, there's not enough positive Rick Lax talk nowadays. Nowadays,
wrong fucking channel, dude.
You're not going to get much pro Rick Lax shit on this channel, but I will give him his due.
Props that those videos were fired and they were good ideas and it was good magic.
Yeah.
When Bentley came out, I was just lit. He said my name. I was like, huh. He was like, Chris Hanowell.
Well, he showed that sometimes tricks are so good that when they're just demonstrated quickly, straight to the camera, like that's just as good or better than fancy production. Because sometimes the tricks are just so clever and visual that they do all the work for you.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get to Chris, but I've got one last question. How did you get Dan Harlan? Because at the same time as Rick came on board, you got Dan. Now, Dan, we know him as an absolute legend. I have said on camera, and I will continue to say, how he managed to do that Tarbell series, I have no idea. Every week, like, it's insane what that man did. No, as well as everything else he was doing.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that having Dan as part of Penguin really brought credibility. Not that they weren't credible before, but having Dan Harlan there as such an iconic, like one of the legends of Magic, like it really kind of allowed you to do stuff like the Tarbell series, which I don't think you could have pulled off without him.
Yeah, well, I think with Dan, like when his, how should I say, his issues came up when he, I think most people know what I'm talking about.
Cash registers,
all that stuff. There was like, I remember hearing people talk, and people were making jokes and stuff, and my thought was like, this guy just had a bad night.
Yeah.
We've all had one.
Still,
so
the genius, right? Cash register or no, like he's still a genius. So I was I'm contacting this guy because this seems like somebody that nobody wants to work with, but we definitely want to work with him because I know he's a genius and has 100 or 1,000 more great creations.
So this was during Paper Crane that you guys did some.
Yeah. It was
that's insane.
So
I thought you'd known him prior to that. I didn't know that was like the introduction.
Yeah, no. I mean, I knew everyone knows of Dan Harlan, but I contacted him during the Paper Crane days, and then we eventually did Minotaur with him, which is one of the greatest Magic DVDs ever.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And Dan
the
was
linking beads.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now.
So I like the lock trick in there.
Yeah.
There's so many good. There's some good coin stuff. So he was responsive. Not at first, but I think using my sales training, I think it got him to get on board.
And when you so I didn't realize that. So you knew him. I should have realized because I knew the Minotaur. So you built a relationship with Dan during the Paper Crane times.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then when we got with Penguin, it just became obvious that like Dan was because I hosted Dan's first lecture at Penguin Live, and after just being around him, like he's the guy for. I don't know if it was me or Mandy. It's probably Mandy because she's so good at hiring people. Which, when you say run, like Mandy and I run a lot of departments, but like really, I mean, it seems like such a corporate thing to say. But the people that do like what Chris does, helps with partner programs, customer service, our builder, like everybody works really hard at Penguin, as you know.
I know, and the other thing is that I love about what Penguin do, and we'll get to this in a bit, is you showcase everybody as well. Like everyone that works within Penguin, you're showcasing them constantly on social media and stuff. It's it's great. But
I'm sorry, what was your question?
Yeah, so Dan, so you brought Dan in.
Oh yeah, Dan.
You literally moved him to Columbus.
Yeah, we moved to Columbus to do. We were doing it for a while where he was driving, and we were like,
Where was he living before?
he was living in Fremont, Ohio.
No way. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. I always thought he was from Ohio, from Columbus.
No. He's living in Fremont, Ohio. That's where he's the pride of Fremont, Ohio. And eventually just moved here, and then he pitched the idea of Tarbell, and we were like, this is so crazy. It could work. And he was like, we just believed in Dan a lot.
Yeah.
And we knew Dan had to be part of Penguin for us to do the things that we wanted to do. But he's on my Mount Rushmore. If I had one for magician.
Without him, he's incredible. And I think he's a little bit underrated.
He's so So one of my goals in Magic that I've never been able to do is Dan has never appeared on the cover of a major magazine.
That's insane.
And I was like, I want to get that for you. Never happened. He's been on our Penguin Magic magazine.
That's surprising.
Times. He's never been on Magic or Genie, but Dan has created some of the most popular
tricks
ever. He's been consultants for TV shows, and then like thought.
Dan's the truth, man. He's
great. He's incredible dude.
He really is.
Yeah, this is never, you're right, underrated because he doesn't get the due for how gifted he is as a creator, thinker of magic. So.
Okay. We're going to put a pause on that for a second. We've got to the point where you've changed around the whole of Penguin Magic. You've got Dan involved, you've got Rick Lax involved. This is kind of where you come in.
Yeah.
So let's reverse a little bit, Chris.
Let's rewind.
And let's talk about your origin story.
Cool.
Chris Hanowell,
Hey,
how did you get into magic? And take me through getting into magic to arriving in Columbus, Ohio and becoming part of Penguin Magic.
It'd be funny if you were just like, oh, it started at Bible study.
Well, Blockbuster was a huge inspiration for me as well, honestly. Hi, my name is Anna DeGuzman. I'm 13 years old. I'm bald. But yeah, man, I started magic when I was 10. I think I've always been interested in it, like since I was like 4. My grandpa showed me a little like Goshman pinch.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what a Goshman pinch was for a long time.
That's a serious move.
It's a good move.
Grandpa, yeah.
Dude, that motherfucker went.
Yeah.
Grandpa's got skills.
He had skills, and that was the only trick he ever did for me. Yeah, he was cool. Yeah, shout out. So,
Shout out to Grandpa.
Shout out to Grandpa. So I saw that when I was like 4. Kind of was exposed to the internet when I was like 10. Probably from not my own well-being.
So this is not therapy, dude.
Yeah. I thought this was a therapy show personally. Yeah. I thought I was.
It can be.
I thought I was just telling my secrets today, all of them. But yeah, like, and then from there, I just did magic for pretty much my entire life, from all through school, all through college. Got a job.
So when you were doing it at school,
yeah,
were you doing it and were you going and doing gigs as well, or were you doing it just fun, socially?
Yeah, here and there. My first gig was when I was like 16, 15. I feel 14 now I'm thinking about it. I had a restaurant gig. I would do like all night for like $20, and I saved up. I did 3 gigs and then bought Dead Rising 2 for the PlayStation 2. I felt like a baller, dude.
Is that the cowboy game?
Not a cowboy game, but close. You could be a cowboy game if you wanted to. It's like a zombie game, but there's no cowboys. There actually probably is cowboys. Maybe I'm tripping. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was the plan to become a professional magician? Was the plan? You said that you got a job after coming out of school. Was the plan to be a magician or work in the industry or not?
I went to college to be a lawyer.
Wow.
And did college. I did all of it. Graduated in 22. But then kind of just realized, man, I'm put on this earth to do magic, man. So during college, I got a job at Eddie's Trick Shop. And that pretty much like...
And where's that? Where in the country?
That is in Marietta, Georgia. If you remember Eddie's Trick Shop, it is no more. It's very sad. That was my home. It was a costume shop and a magic shop. So you would have both things. Most of their business was in October. I don't know why. But we'd sell like things from Murphy's, and we'd have like cute little trinkets and stuff. And I just sharpened my knife working at Eddie's, man. I just sharpened my knife.
I spoke to on this channel a little while ago.
Yeah.
I spoke to Marvin Burglass.
Okay.
Obviously the owner of Marvin's Magic.
Yeah.
And he turned around to me and he said the way to be the best magician in the world is to demonstrate magic. Because it's one thing being able to perform it, but if you can perform it to the point that you get people to hand over money to learn it, then you're golden.
Yes, and especially if you're getting foot traffic as well, and you're doing it over and over again, because then you're finding new things about this trick, and you're have a very controlled like environment. Like it's your environment; they're coming into your house, and when you ask them for magic, more than likely they're going to say yes. You know.
Okay.
You love foot track.
I love it.
You love feet.
Yeah, exactly. I should work at the TSA. Actually, I went to college to work at the TSA because of my foot fetish. Yeah. Not really though. Just being honest with that one. Yeah. Anyway, from there I worked at Eddie's, and then I kind of started getting gigs from there because I would meet people that give me gigs, and I had gigs here and there during college, but it was far and few. Then they kind of started building up, And at some point, just from working at Eddie's, and I've always been creative in Magic too. Like, I think I'm going a little too far ahead.
Every
here.
time I see you, you're always showing me some crazy idea, and it's always amazing.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Yeah, I make like very like Pee Wee Herman type magic.
Oh, I just watched this documentary today.
Oh, really? Was it good?
Oh, so good.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
good.
yeah. It's all right. Yeah, no, we'll get back to that. I have questions. I have questions for the Pee Wee Herman documentary.
Yeah.
We'll do a review on it in a minute.
Yeah, I'd love to. Let's watch it right now. Actually, can we stop this and watch the Pee Wee Herman movie? Oh shit. But let me kind of rewind, because in high school, that's where this guy comes into my life, right?
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. Whoa, hey-o. Wrong choice of words, baby. But this guy comes in my life because I made Bentley, and I was always trying to like get a creation, but I mean, you know, I was a kid, so you gotta learn magic, you gotta really know it and have it in your blood before you can start grading. To some extent. And I made Bentley, was just playing around with paper clips, kind of saw this property in them. I hit up, I think it was
And Bentley's
Madison.
amazing.
Yeah, Bentley is a classic, man.
Yeah, you
Bentley's
bought a
classic.
car. Like a nice
I
car.
bought a car with that money.
At 16.
And at 16, and I wonder what happened to that car.
Yeah.
God only knows what happened to that car.
Did it get stolen?
No, I just crashed it.
Oh, you crashed it. Okay.
Yeah, I crashed that car.
I was like, what? Is it actually a mystery?
It's a mystery, yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know what? Let's go find it. What if it actually the car actually looked like the Scooby-Doo Mystery Machine car? It was the exact same make and model.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I wouldn't lie to you.
Or maybe he will.
Yeah, maybe I would. Who knows? So yeah, from there, I hit up. I think it was Madison Hagler. Shout out to Madison Hagler. Yeah,
It's a familiar name.
familiar name, right? Yeah. I need to hit him up.
He strikes a hard bargain.
Does he really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hagler. Right?
Oh, that got me, because I thought you were dropping teeth. Because I believe you, that's true. And he hit up Cody Nottingham, then Cody Nottingham hit up you, and then we just made it happen, and I came to Columbus for the first time. And it's funny, because I was friends with Dalton online for years and years and years.
We'll get to Dalton in a minute.
Yeah, Dalton
he's a big part of the story as well.
Big part of this.
Yeah.
And so,
call Dalton. Get him on.
yeah, we can call him. That'd be funny. And then I shot Bentley, and then all of our like kind of personalities gelled really well, and we were like, "Wow, this is instantly."
But a lot of people get flown to Columbus
Yeah,
to film a project.
yeah.
Not many people move to Columbus. Like
Not many
you
people.
moved to go. Well,
Yeah.
how did you end up like going from I'm coming to Penguin to film a trick? Hey, this has gone really well. I can buy a car with this money. Now I'm going to relocate.
Yeah.
I know, it's
I will
crazy.
say this real quick.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You got it.
Also, Dan House moved here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Dan Harlan.
Yeah.
So there have been people that just enjoy hanging out with us so much that they
Yeah.
just move here.
Let's move here, yeah.
Relocate.
Yeah, because it's a cool vibe, man. We're all fun-loving, humorous kind of folks. We
Yeah.
all like. Me personally, I love to laugh.
Yeah.
I love to laugh.
I hate it.
You hate laughing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Me too sometimes.
I hate to. Well, I hate to go there.
So, yeah. So at some point, I was like, Shaun, fuck the bullshit, man. Get me a job here. I said it just like that. And then Shaun was like, let me see what I can do. And this guy changed my life, man. It's been changing my life for years and years and years and years. Because just hooked me up, started working from home, and then immediately Corona happened, like maybe 6 months later, not even 3 months later. And so and then I was working through Corona, and then at some point,
you an apartment and all that stuff.
yeah, exactly. Then so now I was like, all right, so time to move to Columbus, kind of get my face up there a little bit more. Now I'm here, and I've just been working in the magic shop, doing calls, making magic, and being an absolute goof, and a big goof. Yeah.
And doing it so well.
Yeah, thank you.
Doing it so well. And we'll talk about your role in Penguin in a minute.
Yeah.
But I think it's really important to talk about Dalton.
Yeah.
Because he's a big part of this. I don't know how he knows either one of you, but just to let you know who Dalton Wayne is, you've probably seen him. He's been the face of several products that Penguin have brought out over the years. The most recent one was the Invisible Harmonica.
Yeah.
He was on the trailer for the Invisible Harmonica, where he was like trying to play apples and God knows what. But Dalton is the guy that creates all of the trailers, all of the demos, edits all of the tutorials, films a lot of the stuff for Penguin. If you've ever seen that iconic style of trailer and all of the thumbnails and everything, that's all Dalton, one guy doing all of that.
Yeah.
Which is insane when you consider the amount of magic that they bring out. That there's one person. Every time I come to Columbus, because Dalton, who lives in Orlando, gets flown over to Columbus. He's here when I'm here. He leaves when I'm here. And I know he gets flown in for other artists as well, all of the time. So he's constantly flying to Columbus. He's filming all of this stuff. So when you see the live performances being filmed, a lot of the time that's Dalton. But he's editing every single trailer. He's editing every single tutorial. And I'll say something. My friend, one of my best friends in the world is Lloyd Barnes, who's incredible at making trailers. And he has openly said on record his favourite demo maker, his favourite video editor in the whole of Magic is Dalton White.
Oh, for sure. I've heard that several times before.
He's the GOAT.
Yeah, shout out to Dalton. We're keeping our wallets closed. Yeah.
So how did
personal message?
It's a personal message for him. Yeah, we're keeping our wallets closed.
So how did Dalton get involved in this whole thing? Where did he come from?
So Dalton, like Chris, was a person that would submit tricks to us back in Paper Crane. Dalton, being the visionary editor and film guy that he is,
because
appreciated what Mandy was doing and was a big fan of Paper Crane.
Oh yeah. And here's the thing: he is crazy today at editing, but back in the day, it was a bright, just like eye-gasm party. It was insane the way he used to edit, dude. Like, it was crazy. And Dalton is just a creative guy overall, dude. He'll have you rolling, bro.
Yeah,
he's
hilarious.
So good. Hilarious guy. But he would just submit stuff, and I would give him feedback on it, and just talk about his videos and stuff. And we invited him out to help us film I think what's called the IMX convention in Vegas. It only happened once. It was a guy named Craig, a South African guy named Craig.
I remember that.
I never even heard of this.
Yeah, it was like Magic Live, right after Magic Live started. Like, it was, I don't know, 2011, something like that. Yeah. Anyway, and he helped us, doing the production of that event. And he just worked so hard. He just had a great attitude. And I think Mandy was just like, we got to hire this person, and he actually was another person that moved here and just been working with us since, best friends ever since,
I'm seeing a pattern. A lot of people moved to Columbus.
There's a lot of people moved.
That's crazy.
So I mean, that's one of the things that makes the Penguin work, is that like we're all really close. We hang out with each other throughout the week. There's so many creators here in Columbus. Seth Race is doing amazing things.
Seth Race is
Seth is my man.
Seth's amazing.
Yeah. David Newell and Braden. Like, there's so many good creative. Eric Tate, of course. But we all are legitimately just really good friends, and we like hanging out. We all come from diverse backgrounds, different ages, but it just works,
We kick it.
And that is because of the strong foundation that Mandy and I have, just being friends for 30 years. So,
wow, that's amazing.
it's a family company.
Yeah,
it's not. That's what I think makes us unique, is that it really is like a family company.
Yeah, Columbus is an interesting place. I just feel like every other week it's something new.
I love
something
Columbus.
funny and something new.
I love Columbus.
Yeah.
I
do you want to hear a funny non sequitur story that happened, but it's just on my mind for some reason?
Yeah,
What Columbus Morts? We got a letter one time. Do you remember the letter we got with?
Oh,
from
that was
Clown
awesome.
Lady?
Yeah,
that was
we've
awesome,
gotten
right?
a few of those, but that was the best one.
That was the craziest one. We got this letter with maybe like about a year ago. I'll say this happened. a letter from this local performer who went to jail, I think, for killing her husband, and she sent us like a lock of her hair and like this like highly detailed like, hey, let me out. I've sent it to this letter to this other people, and it was all handwritten. It was crazy. But yeah, we it gets real sometimes. We got a wild letter, and I think she had worked at some burlesque around the city, and she was aware of us. But yeah,
aware of us. That's a funny way to say it.
She was aware of us. Yeah, so yeah. But we got a million stories like that where it's just Columbus is just a fun city.
Well, I'm going to, and obviously we got to a point where you are working with Penguin. Penguin are going from strength to strength. Absolutely amazing. I'm going to ask you some questions, both of you now.
Hey, I like that.
About Penguin, and specifically about you guys and Penguin, because there's rumours. And let's see if we can put some facts in place. And the first one is that I've heard is the amount of times I see on the internet, the reactions on the demos are faked. There's no way you can get those reactions.
Right.
So I hear that all the time.
Yeah.
Because every single time you see a Penguin demo, people are losing their shit.
Right.
Yeah.
And people say that the demos are faked. So I can personally tell you that they're not, at least from my point of view.
When you say fake, do you mean like AI?
Like we're coaching the spectator. Like, I want you guys to really react because this is for television, and
this is the moment where it's going to happen, and blah 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 blah. Yeah.
So the reason why that wouldn't work is if you actually do this, you just know that you have to film. The purpose, you're there, you're at bars, people are having fun. The longer you're there, people get drunk more. You need to be in a hurry and get reactions fast, and they get out. The time it takes to like talk to the person, coach them, like it would not make sense and it's a weird thing. Yeah. Like to say that to someone,
it is weird.
It just makes them uncomfortable, and they're not going to react well if they do that. It's going to be obviously fake. You know when a fake reaction happens.
You know what happens. People aren't dumb. You know, like you're not just looking at the lights like another older magic company, which I'm not going to name because I actually like them, but we know what we're talking about, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. So, but that doesn't happen. I think we take more of the like whose line is it anyway approach, where it's like you just film a lot and then you pluck out what you like the best, and you know. Exactly. Like sometimes you're just going to find some corporate stiff who doesn't want to react at all. But more often than not, people are going to love the tricks that we produce. So,
exactly.
We make good stuff.
It's a simple formula. If people are smiling and having a good time, they're most likely going to give a better reaction, look better on camera.
Exactly. Yeah. And the other thing you've got to consider is Columbus is a college town.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's going to be people that are over a laugh. Whenever you go out, you're going to find it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. When I
and
walk
they're
out,
good tricks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're good tricks. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that actually brings me to my next question. These are good tricks. They are good tricks.
Yeah.
How can people get on your radar and release a trick with Penguin Magic? That is the question I get asked more than any other question. What is the submission process? What does it go through? I've had people in the past go, I'm never going to get a trick with Penguin Magic. I'm not Craig Petty. I'll tell you right now, I get more no's from Shaun about stuff that I submit. I have to go through the same procedure as everybody else.
Yeah.
I send him a submission. I'll let him talk about what the submission process is. But I get more no's than I do yeses. So, you know, you have a very high standard.
Yeah.
So, can you talk through what that is so that people that are watching this that want to have a trick with Penguin Magic, and also
we both
talk about the difference as well between Penguin producing a trick and the Penguin Partner Program?
Yeah.
Because I don't think people know the difference.
Yeah.
And I know that you guys are both very involved with both of them.
Yeah. So I have one foot. I have a foot in the partner program, and Sana has a foot. I mean, I both have like.
Yeah.
You know,
I'd say now. I kind of got the partner program up and running. Chris is now taking it over for and from me. I'm slightly involved with it because it was kind of like, you know, I've just done it for so long.
Yeah.
But the best way to submit a product is to email me or submit hatch a new product.
Yeah, it's just partner at penguinmagic.com.
Partner at penguinmagic.com. You
Yeah.
can go that way, or you can email me directly. My email is Shaun at penguinmagic, and they'll probably put it on the screen right
Yeah, we
here.
will.
Yeah, put it right here. And what's fun is I get to see all of these tricks, and I'm the one reviewing them and sending them to the team. And there is a likely chance, I wouldn't say likely, it depends on the trick, but if your trick is very nice, well produced, well made, I send it to the team reviews it, and it could potentially become a P3 product. I mean, it has happened in the past,
So when someone emails me a trick, and I'll talk about how to submit, because you've touched on this on your channel before.
Yeah, but it's worth coming from the horse's mouth, really.
Send me an email, include the performance and the explanation. Email me is the best way to get them to do it if you want to talk to me directly. What I do is I look at the trick and I say, is this good enough to send to our team? Because to review a trick takes a lot of time, and I don't want everybody to waste the time on tricks that we're just not going to be interested in.
Yeah.
So if I see a trick that I know we're not interested in,
and we've seen snankers before.
Not many actually.
Not many though. Not many. I gotta say that I love seeing all the creativity from these creators. Very good stuff. But the funniest one I've ever seen. This one's the best one. This is just great.
I need to hear this.
One time, a guy looked awesome. He went had a matchstick, right? Focused on the matchstick and then burst into flames. Right?
That's incredible.
Sounds awesome, right? Like, look at the instructions. The method is you have a guy off to the side of the screen.
Wait a minute, don't suppose it's true.
No, it's not on the market. It's not on the market.
What? No. What do you mean? Okay, go.
It's not on the market. I'm going to.
There's no way that.
There's no way. No one. If you see this trick, don't buy it. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I forgot who made it, but it was a guy, right? And so he blowtorch, right? Off screen made the thing.
So it was a prank. It was a joke.
It wasn't even.
It wasn't. It
was like, what is crazy?
Yeah, you're not exposing a magic trick. You're
just trying. It was very funny. And like it looked like he was just trying to sell a man with a blowtorch.
That's hilarious.
Which is really funny. I want the trick to come with the blowtorch guy.
Yeah.
But that's a very far and few experience. Typically love seeing
most of the submissions we get are good. And here's the thing: so if something's not good enough to send to the team, I try to give them notes and say, hey, this is what it needs.
Yeah.
Usually the thing is it examinable, right? And if the answer is no, that doesn't mean it's a dead end right there, but it's a lot better if it is. Okay, part two of that is like, yes, it's examinable with a switch. Well, the switch needs to be as creative as the rest of the method. Right?
Yeah, I've always
you can't
liked
just
that.
do this, I need to create a name for it, because to do the whole thing like that where they lean in and switch it and put their hand behind it or whatever.
Right.
The switch needs to be just as clever as the method. Usually those are the notes that I give people.
And I will say before you carry on, Shaun is a genius at this, like an absolute genius. Like, I submitted something recently. You know what I'm talking about, the thing with the 5 cards, and it's a card revelation. And you said, I'm not going to put that to the team. And I was like, why not? He said, because I know what everyone's going to say. They're going to say this one thing. That is an issue. If you can fix that, I love it. And then I went back and I spent about a week, and I was like, actually, I've worked out a way of doing that, and I sent you the new video, and you're like, yeah, now it's perfect.
Yeah.
Like, because you've seen so many magic tricks, and you've like, what's the word? Marketed so many magic tricks and produced so many magic tricks, you can kind of look at something and know what it needs to do. Because the trick might be good if you were going to do it on your own, but there's a difference between you creating a trick just for yourself, and you creating a trick that is going to be sold to everybody, because
Right.
then it has to be commercially appealing, because Penguin not going to just throw money away, right? So I just thought I'd mention that, like, you're really good at that.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, and it gets better over the years, you know. And it's not really what we're looking at. Or people ask, like, what are you looking for? It's not really that. It's what you the customers, are looking for. Is what we're trying to figure out every day, you know.
Yeah.
So I'll give notes before I send anything. So the most basic description would be send me an email. If it's perfect, I'll send it to the team. Right? When you're submitting a trick to us, best way to send is YouTube. It's the easiest for everybody.
Yeah.
Anybody can just watch it on their phone. Click the
Unlisted video on YouTube.
Yeah, I love a nice YouTube link. Please, if you're sending us tricks, send us a nice unlisted YouTube link. We would love it.
And do not give an intro. Like, don't tell me in the video at the very beginning why you came up with this, your thought process. And this goes for me, for Penguin or any, I'm sure every company would want to tell magicians who are submitting products, we don't need to know. We want to see the trick to evaluate it.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, if you want to include that stuff, then yes. But I don't want to hear that for a trick that I'm not even interested in.
And what's funny is, like, I'm more just interested in the trick, right?
Do you know what
like
I'm
a lot of
talking
people
about?
talk, like, say, hey, this trick is great because of this. I just want to kind of
Just
see
want to
its
see the
greatness,
trick,
Yeah. I mean, when you're submitting a trick, it's all about the trick.
Yeah.
The
That's a
other
bar.
stuff, yeah. The other stuff is important, but a lot of people submit it because they're so nervous or they're excited. People like me that are watching submissions, they want to see the trick, then show the method. So that would be my main recommendation. Make it as short as possible, because people that are looking at these things probably are looking at lots of them. It's easy to get burned out, especially if you go through 15 minutes of talking before the trick happens.
That's really good advice. Is there anything else that people can do to win you over? Like, for example, is it important for people to have a following? Like, obviously, what I mean by that is,
Yes,
obviously,
right.
Penguin want to make money. You're not going to throw money at something to produce it. If you so is it important for people, like, if you had somebody who hasn't got a social media account, nobody knows them in the magic industry, they're a complete nobody, and they submit a trick and it's the best trick in the world, obviously you're still going to go for it. But if it's a trick that's like pretty good, but they've got a huge following, like there's like a tribe of people that follow them on Instagram or YouTube or whatever it is that more likely to sway it? Like, well, this is a good trick. It's not a great trick, it's a good trick, but there's all these people that follow them that would be... Or
I think it depends on the product heavy, because with our lives, I think it does require a following, because you are now waiting for that person's live, and once you see that person that you follow's live, that's gonna... For our product, I think it's a different language.
With Penguin Lives, we can talk about that later, because that's an interesting.
That's interesting,
concept.
right?
Picking because we get so many requests for lectures, so we should talk about that. But does it sway? I mean, it can, but usually, like, I just care about the trick, you know. Because if the person is not a good presenter, then what?
You care hard.
Yeah.
You care a lot about these
I
tricks.
care a lot. And that's what I care the most about. The following is helpful. I guess it could maybe push it over the edge. Sometimes, like if Copperfield wanted to release a trick, you know, and it was just like, you know, that might push it over the edge. Because I'm like, you know what? He has a big enough fan base that might just want to buy this trick just because they're Copperfield collectors or whatever. If we're talking about like normal people, like if Danny Garcia submitted something or Wayne Houchin and we didn't like it, at some point I'd be like, well, this guy knows what he's doing. You know, we would trust him because he has that following, he has that reputation. Sometimes the creators, their reputation is the thing that will push it over and be like, you know what, we're going to trust this creator because they have a great track record and we've done well with them in the past. So
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And the Penguin Partner Program is a completely different thing, right?
Yeah.
I will say this.
I mean,
Yes.
If they have a negative following, right, that has nothing to do with their tricks, right, then...
Like me.
Well, no. I mean, if they're like genuinely... I guess this doesn't even need to be said. If they are like genuinely are bad people, you know, like that can affect.
Oh, so now we're talking about Rick Lutz again.
Yeah.
Boom. Clip that.
Well,
Clip that.
Obviously,
Clip that.
We've worked with Rick, so like
Yeah, I know. And I will say, like, Tornado is probably my favourite trick of all.
I love Tornado.
Contact.
Contact is
Awesome.
amazing.
Yeah.
Rick's got some great stuff.
Rick's a good, like, dude, he did something
Yeah.
none of us could have done.
Yeah.
Definitely
Yeah.
did something.
I mean, something good, you know.
Yeah, he did.
If you leave that open for interpretation, people can do whatever they want with it. But no, he crushed it and still crushing it.
Yeah, he is.
But if somebody's just a difficult person, they just that can influence things too.
So if you're difficult to, so if you go and you film something with Penguin and you're a diva or you're an asshole or whatever the case may be, doesn't matter if you've got a great trick. It's like, do we want to put ourselves through that again?
Yeah. I mean, it does cause. We've worked with people that we thought were going to be divas, but then once they come in and get into the Columbus ecosystem of just good friends and good times, like usually all that stuff calms down. So
yeah, I think so. Yeah,
we can.
There's a certain energy when you walk into when you hop in the car with me and Shaun, and we start bumping some Tupac for you. Then there's a certain energy that's like, oh, okay, I can.
We have
fun.
That's
we like to laugh. We like to have fun.
That's funny. And one other question on that actually, which is worth asking because I get asked this and I don't really know the answer. Sometimes you see a trick come out with Penguin.
Yeah.
And it's not them on the tutorial. It's Eric or it's me or it's Nick or it's somebody like that or Dawson or you or whatever the case may be. Like, how does that happen? Like, and because the people might be watching this and going, well, it's my trick. I want to be the person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How does it like end up being somebody else sometimes?
So you can almost like 99% of the time be the person that if you want, even if you whether you have a name or not, you have that right to do for your product.
Yeah.
The times when it doesn't is when people don't want it.
Yeah.
They don't want to be the guy on camera. Or they're smart. They're like, Nick Lacapo pitch is going to sell this better than me. And because people are not good at pitching products.
I could pitch it, or I could get a FISM champion and they
Like you're really good at one take going through your script. A lot of people. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you don't need a script. Like I don't.
You don't need a script.
You didn't prepare any of these questions.
No, I'm
making
it up as I go.
Freestyle. Yeah. Which is insane. Like
off the top of the dome.
It's. What are you saying? Sorry.
No, it's just. Can people be the front row?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
9 times out of 10, yes. Many times it's because they don't want to be. There are very, very, very few times where someone has a great trick, and I've had to have the difficult conversation. They just don't do it very well. You know, and they can fool lay people, they can't fool the camera. You know, when they're doing it. so it's totally different.
And there's no problem with that. Some of the best creators.
I'm
might not
actually the
necessarily-
first. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Sir.
No, I was going to say, some of the best creators might not be the person that wants to. Look at Elvo Stockman.
Yeah.
Never seen him on camera.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to be there.
Doesn't want to be on camera.
He's supposed to be an underground legend.
Underground legend, brother. Legend. I'll tell you what, Bentley was the first case of this. Bentley, that's how, like, the Nick Capo, because it's funny, because I got sick.
Started the...
So it's kind of, it all comes together. I was the first person for Nick to do the trailer for it. Because I got sick, and I was just like a 17-year-old, 16-year-old, like, little dope. And, I mean, they came in and they reshot it.
I think you might have been, like, in the top 5 of worst people at pitching.
Yeah, easily. Yeah, it was really bad. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I think we could create, I bet you want to try it? You want to test something out?
Yeah, we can do it. I can do a pitch.
Can you do a pitch right now for, what name of product? Like a real magic product? Yeah.
All right, an obscure product. Let's go basic with it. Let's go Panic by Aaron Fisher.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, right.
You want me to
pitch it right now? Watch this.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see if I can do this. Okay.
Do you remember the term?
Yeah, it's the deck vanish, right? Yeah, deck vanish, right? Yeah, okay. Hey, my name's Craig Petty, and on behalf of Penguin Magic, I want to bring to you Aaron Fisher's Panic. Now, let's be honest, people have been vanishing decks for years. And typically what tends to happen is you got to use complicated sleight of hand. But what Aaron has managed to achieve is he's been able to take the deck vanish and being able to put it together and make it almost completely self-working. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to bring out a deck of cards. You can see that the entire deck is there. You're going to spread them out. You're going to have someone name a 4 of a kind. And then visibly, with no moves, right in front of the spectator's eyes, you're going to have that entire deck melt away, leaving just that 4 of a kind. Now, on the project, you're also going to have multiple different handlings, including decks jumping into the pocket and jumping back to the deck. And the gimmicks are custom designed by the USPCC Playing Card Company. You put them into the deck, you are good to go. The cool thing is, this is really easy to do. You're going to be able to do it in no time at all, and you're going to look like a sleight of hand god with very little experience. Wow. My name's Craig Petty, and I'm super proud to you on behalf of Penguin Magic, Aaron Fisher's Panic.
Wow.
That's okay.
Yeah, that was
awesome.
fucking fire, brother. That was fucking fire. That's crazy. That was good. That was good.
I don't know. I've just always been able to do that.
Yeah.
I did it with.
Do you really like Panic too?
Oh yeah, I love it.
I like it a lot. Who doesn't like that trick? That's a great trick.
I remember first time I heard about it, I was at Magi Fest, and he was doing it for people before he released it.
Yeah.
Everybody at Magi Fest, this is the old building, Magi Fest, everyone was just buzzing about it. And I was like real timid and asking, I was like, I want to see the trick that everybody's talking about. I wasn't cool enough at the time or something, but yeah. Anyway,
it's a killer trick. It's an absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Forget about that. God,
Yeah.
so many good tricks out there. Just people just forget about.
It's like in that like very niche era of Magic where people were like stars were being created because DVDs were still out, so DVDs were harder to come by than a download. So it feels like, oh, I'm popping this in my TV. I'm watching this on my TV. You know, I feel like there's something there, right?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
So what is the difference then, very quickly, between pitching a product to Penguin and the Penguin Partner Program?
So the partner program, you're just going to email us your idea, and we evaluate it on a number of different things, like just how practical it is or how original it is, this, that, and the other. And more often than not, you'll get on the partner program, and through our partner program, it's just you'll self-produce it. You can either make it a download or a physical product, and you would just make up the entire thing, then plop it on our site, and you now have a Penguin listing. So it's a great way to just put an idea on Penguin. So through your partner portal, you can just upload it. We evaluate it for originality and for practicality. And yeah, and if we really, really love the product, it might come on P3 production. Who knows?
Well, I've always said that I did a video a little while ago about how to become a successful magic creator.
Yeah.
And I talked about how it's really important to have a track record before
Yeah,
you
oh,
pitch
yeah.
your first big product.
Oh yeah.
And I said one of the best things to do is go and create a really good instant download.
Yes.
Put it on the partner
Yeah.
program.
Yeah.
Charge $0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then send it out to
Yeah, for
everybody
sure, yeah.
and just ask them to give you reviews.
Yeah.
And then you can pitch a product. You can go, well, I had this come out on the partner program. It's got 50 reviews online and people love it.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Sometimes I do ask people like, hey, can you put this out for free if I think that it's something that would benefit them? Not because I think the trick is bad, just because I think it would perform better as a free trick. And it would
Well, you
also
know Chris
benefit-
James, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he's
He's in
bringing out.
our VR group.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Chris-
Of course.
Yeah,
of
so
course,
he's
yeah.
bringing out a ton of stuff at the moment, and is working with a bunch of different companies. And his first thing, he put out a trick for free on Penguin Partner Program. I told him, I said, put this on Penguin Partner Program, and he did. And
Okay.
it's got- it's a great way. It's a great way to get around.
Yeah. The guy's
Yeah.
working in magic
Mhm.
industry full time.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, dude, that AirPods.
Heavy. Yeah.
That's good.
That-
That's so good. I love it. I
That's
want
right,
one.
yeah.
I really want one.
On that.
Yeah.
On that subject, right, of doing the free tricks, right? So, if the amount of downloads you get because it's free at Penguin gives you so much exposure.
Yeah.
Not only is it the exposure that you're going to get from it, but the people that, if it's a good trick, now you have all these fans. They got something for free.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So when you have another release that you want to sell that you know is as good as the first one, you got thousands of people that are already familiar with you, your thought process, how you create tricks and things like that. It's far better than doing something and releasing it and selling a modest amount.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree.
And hear me out. As an artist, you need to know what to retain and what to give out. You know,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
need to know that
absolutely.
balance, because if you don't, then no one will ever know you. And if you're just keeping it all, close to your belt, then it's like, who's gonna see this? You need to show the world.
I suggested a free trick to an artist that was submitting, suggesting to do it for free. And they're like, well, it almost makes it seem like it's not very good. And I was like, well, the best tricks for not like illusions or anything, but the best tricks that we know, we learn for free.
Yeah.
They're in a
Oh,
book.
100%.
Or,
Yeah.
or something that's just passed down. Like the best tricks are the free trick.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean?
Me personally, I charge people to see my Crazy Man's handcuffs. I charge people for that. Yeah. I
you're
personally,
making a
yeah.
joke.
I'm making a bit. No one laughed at the bit. I wasn't being serious. I'm making a little bit.
You should
Sorry.
charge magicians.
I remember you guys, you and all healing had a trick off. With,
Oh, we had a
with
trick off. He kicked my ass.
No, but Crazy Man handcuffs is slightly better, kind of type. It is kind of. I'll be honest.
You do have a trick you should charge magicians to see. It's
Yeah.
the impromptu double cross. So.
Yeah.
That is an amazing trick.
Yeah.
I'm
it's
telling
so
you right
good.
now, Chris has got a version of double cross, but it's completely impromptu, no gimmick.
Yes.
And it is.
No gimmick, right?
Yeah, no
It's a
gimmick at all.
borrowed Sharpie.
It is one of the best things I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's so good, man. Yeah,
Don't ever tell anyone about it.
I won't.
People
I won't.
want to
Shout out to
appreciate
Bear, by the way. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
So good.
So good.
So let's very quickly just talk about. You wanted to talk about the Penguin Lives
Yeah.
because we talked about how the Penguin Lives put Penguin on the map. They then disappeared for a couple of years.
Yeah, man. The new ones are
Yeah.
crazy
And then-
looking, right?
Yeah, and then they came
Yeah.
back with a massively increased production.
Yeah.
And now we're not seeing them every week. We used to see them every week. Now we're kind of getting them almost like as and when, but it feels like the quality has gone through the roof with them.
Yeah.
So 2 questions. Why did they go away? Why did they come back? And how to... Man, I'm telling you, I get so many people saying to me, you've done a Penguin Live, you've done 2 if you count the Christmas special. how can I get a Penguin Live? Can you put a good word in for me? It'd be great for you to explain how people can get a Penguin Live.
Yeah. So the reason they went away for a little bit is that I think anytime you have like an iconic brand, or a lot of times you want to regroup and go different directions. So we just kind of went in a different directions. We started doing the acts more, and now we're doing them less, and being a little more careful with how we're choosing who to work with. Also, I almost don't even want to mention this, but like it does factor into it. During the pandemic, certain websites that were selling illegal content seemed to get really popular. Although no one I know has ever used one of them, right? And no magician,
you never know,
right?
Yeah.
But they're going on. Those sites were stealing our material and selling it, and obviously we didn't make anything from that. The artists,
what's
suffers
crazy,
the most. Like we don't with Penguin Live, we're happy to break even with it. Fortunately, Penguin Lives do very well for us, but so it's not about like, oh, we're losing all this money. It's just the artists suffer if they're making royalties. So that part that seemed to get really popular in the pandemic maybe influenced it a little bit to where we were like, let's rethink how we're doing these. Let's make them bigger and better than ever.
Yeah.
Now they're insane.
And the trailers, man, Dalton just absolutely fucking just kills it every single time. He kills it because
Dalton's so good.
Yeah, Dalton's so good. He like has, because back in the day we had the song. We don't use the song anymore. There was a standard kind of pitch to them. Now the tone is very cinematic and wild. And, some of them have been amazing. Like Kristen Lambert's one is amazing. Crazy Sam's is great. Mario Lopez.
Nicola Arcane's was just phenomenal.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
Gabriel
that
Whirlin.
was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
So there's basically two ways to get a Penguin Live if you want to. One is to be an established magician, maybe actually lecture at conventions, have a track record of like successful tricks, and we're talking about the Michael Mars of the world, Craig Petty's of the world, I did a lecture, but that's probably I probably got I probably
people.
Yeah, I know people. But my lecture's good though.
It is. It's great.
Yeah.
So I got.
Shout out to the Key Band, y'all. Yeah, we're putting you on, dude. Shaun Dunn's Penguin lecture. Check that shit out.
It's
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
But so that's one way. Have an established following. We have to have heard of you, right? The other way to do it is be an underground guy, underground magician, guy or girl, obviously, that is coming up with some buzz, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like people like Peter Turner, he was like, people were talking about this guy. So
Taylor Morelli, when he did Function 9, everybody was buzzing about
right.
it. It's like, who is this kid?
So it might not have been the biggest name in the world at the time when they did the lecture, but there was already buzz. The most recent example of this, which is one of the best Penguin Lives ever, certainly of recent memory, is the Gabriel Whirlin, right?
Yeah, it's great.
So the guy's not a household name. However, there is some hype around his methods and tricks. So that would be the other way.
Yeah.
Having a great
also, I think propless mentalism is something that appeals to people a lot.
Yeah. If you have another way to do it is like having a like that, having a certain thing that you do and specialize in, like if you have a lecture on, like we did one with Kristen Lambert, which was on cold reading or whatever. Like it's, you
cool.
know, it has a subject connected to the lecture, not just a bunch of tricks.
Yeah.
And that was another reason why we went to doing the acts, is because we wanted to see people's shows, you know.
And we want to put on shows.
Yeah,
we love
yeah,
putting on
yeah.
shows, man.
Just saying, like those, they're like 30 to 40. What are they? $40.
The,
Penguin Knives. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
they're $40.
Anyway.
Yeah, they're $40.
Yeah. Like you can get someone's entire show, not just someone.
So good.
Someone that is really good
$40.
For $40.
It's crazy.
You know,
It's
that's
not
just,
It's mad.
it's
And for $20 or $25, even if you're in Columbus, Ohio, you can come and see one of these shows yourself. You really can.
Yeah,
'cause these are shows. We have live shows. Sell tickets all the time. I actually do kids shows every Sunday. Not every Sunday, but one Sunday a month.
yeah. Chris is.
I just find it hilarious that you do kid shows.
I know, it's really funny.
He's
a cool
really
job.
good at kids magic.
I want to see
Yeah.
your kid show.
Yeah, I got a whole kids show, man. It's fun. Yeah, I make kids play the rubber chickens. I play music on the rubber chickens. I play smoke on the water on rubber chickens.
Yeah.
It's awesome, dude.
Oh.
There's only one pair in the world I'm aware of that can play this song. I've been working on other songs too. Seven Nation Army, working on rubber chickens.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
If we have like a clip that plays
Yeah.
over the.
You can put the clip right
so you can
here.
see what he's
The
talking
clip
about.
right here of you playing the rubber chicken.
Yeah, and I play them good. And I do like the human xylophone on stage with kids. So I'm like,
Oh,
that's
that's a great trick.
It's a great trick. I love adding music and any kind of like fun, creative audio thing
Yeah,
to the whole
that's
thing.
such a good trick.
Recently I've been taking like one of those exploding like confetti cannons and then making it look like a wand.
Yeah.
So at the end of my show, I just terrify all the kids.
That's great.
I think
in my adult show, I fill them with cigarettes though.
with kids,
cigarettes, right? Okay.
with kids magic, right? Like it. I think Nicola is going to make kids magic cool.
Yeah, for real.
I think some other people like that. It needs to be like it needs a new makeover, or a new
100%.
coat of paint. Because
Yeah.
kids magic is awesome.
And
It's
they've
awesome.
been
It's
doing it
really
the
great.
same way for a very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it needs to change.
So back one thing about the partners, I will say, like, if you are consistent in putting out tricks on the partner program, people like Joseph B. or
Joseph
Arnell, Renegato, like, just consistently put stuff out there,
Abby
you will get a
Tones.
following.
Yeah.
You will get a following. But
Abby Tones for sure.
and the partner tricks on our site of Joseph B. are
Awesome.
amazing.
High caliber
Yeah,
magic.
yeah,
very, very
he's
well.
great. He's great.
Nobody
else
knows
studied
who.
magic?
I don't know who. I mean, I've seen the videos, obviously, but I don't know where the guy came from or anything.
Yeah.
It's kind of a mystery.
Yeah. Adi Ramat, another one that's great.
Yeah.
There's so many good
Dr.
guys.
Cyril Thomas is on the partner program.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's one of the people that are like he produces all of this stuff, so it's good.
Yeah. A lot of people go on the Penguin Partner.
Straight bands, yeah. I
Okay.
love band magic, man. Band magic is cool. It's like,
Oh, it is.
yeah, it's like I like also like band guys.
Do you do
specifically.
any band stuff?
Oh, a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
A
Okay.
lot.
Yeah.
I got some original stuff, I should show.
Oh, really? Wow.
Some really good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Every time someone sends a submission, like, I'll ask, like, can I send this to Joe Rhineflesh to make sure? Because I'll do the same thing for
King
you
band.
because he's created everything. It seems
Yeah,
like.
Joe is the goat when it comes to band magic.
Yeah.
There's no
By far, no one's even.
Goat Ryan Flesh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's forgotten more than most people know about band magic. I mean, the guy is just insane, and
Yeah.
such a nice person as well. Okay, so I want to ask you another question, one more, which is another thing that's come up quite frequently: the Penguin website.
Oh yeah.
That kind of, and let's be nice to it, looks like a reject from the 1990s. It's
Okay.
it's not changed in recent years. is what I'm saying.
Yes,
It's kind of got an old school vibe to it.
Yeah.
And I kind of understand why. I'm thinking the reason is you're kind of going down the route of it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
right.
And it does what it needs to do. But I see so many people going, "Well, the Penguin going to put new?" I'm a big fan of the Penguin YouTube channel. I love the stuff that you've been putting out.
Oh, yeah,
And there's some great comments in there, but you'll always see somebody say,
Yeah.
"When the hell are you going to update the website?"
Yeah.
Like, is that ever going to be a thing? Or
Of course. We'll
Yeah, it's been talked about for many years.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a tech person, so I wouldn't.
I'm asking the wrong person here.
Yeah. But to answer your question, yeah, of course we're gonna update it.
Yeah.
And we want to be the best magic company on every level. Like we want to have the best website, we want to have the best production values, the best tricks, all that stuff.
Also, I'm gonna say this: something inside of you. If you ever see that Penguin page change, your heart may be like,
Oh yes,
you know?
I didn't think about that.
You're like, oh, you know.
There
like,
might be some
times are
nostalgia with
nostalgia,
it,
yeah.
Because
It's like times are a change, and if Penguins,
people say all the time, like, man, I miss like the old intro music to the demos, or like, yeah, your original Penguin Magic Born to Perform shirt. I still have mine, and like those. I remember getting the DVDs in the mail from Penguin. Did you get those? Yeah.
Yes.
And this would blow someone's mind if I told them that we watched like some new guy in Magic, right? Like I can't think of somebody, but like, oh yeah, we used to watch the Magic demos on a DVD. Right? They came in the mail from Penguin. Like that's how innovative Penguin was.
Yeah.
Like you got a DVD and you put it in, and there were just like 50 Magic demos on it.
That's crazy. I would watch that.
So smart,
that's
and
so
I
smart.
watched them all because it was like back then. It was like, well, maybe your internet connection wasn't that great or whatever. You know, like, yeah, it was crazy. I totally forgot about the DVDs.
That was really innovative back in the day, though. It really, I'd forgotten about that as well. But yeah, that was really innovative.
Yeah.
It's like the update of the catalog.
Yeah, we used to send candy in the mail.
Yeah,
When
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Peanut M&Ms.
The hors d'oeuvres where they send the video of them packing the order, you know.
Yeah.
I love that.
So-
I love seeing
And-
that.
So to have all that innovation and think that we're not going to update it, it's of course we are.
It's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't think about like if someone sees the change, like it's going to hurt some.
Yeah,
people
one
that have
day
some-
when somebody switches, they're going to go, oh, let's go and see what's on Penguin Magic, and the whole thing looks completely different. They're going to be like, oh, fuck.
It's like that last scene in the Truman Show.
Yeah.
Where he leaves,
Like,
and then
good
the
night.
guy's like, "All right, anything else on TV?" You know, they'll think about it for a second and then move on.
Same color scheme too.
Yeah.
The end of Truman Show. Yeah. I think Penguin Magic is a lot like the end of Truman Show. Yeah, it makes me feel good. But yeah, no, I think we're gonna change our site to look a lot like Illusionist. We're gonna go for a lot of black.
Black.
Wearing
You're
skulls.
not wearing eyeliner?
Yeah, I'm wearing eyeliner under these glasses right now.
Perfect.
It's
So,
gonna be skulls in like heavy metal.
Yeah, I bought a machine gun for trailers. For
You know, you could have just been
Blues.
taking a laptop out into the middle of the desert and blowing it
Yeah,
up.
wasn't
I can
that funny?
understand
That is an insane, funny thing to do in a
That
trailer
was-
in the
that was-
desert too.
I was like, dude, what's on that laptop? He's like, it's gone.
We're gonna get rid of this.
That's so funny. Oh my god, that's really
Yeah.
I
true.
was saying, didn't he like beat the shit out of a hotel room?
Yeah,
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that. Yeah, I remember that. That was cool.
Awesome, man.
That is cool. I want to do that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Danny Madsen's awesome.
dude. We can make that today.
Yeah. I don't think.
I think that would be
Hey,
great.
we're in an Airbnb.
We're in an Airbnb.
Let's fuck this place up, man. Like, Craig's got a bill.
Yeah, I think it'll be for free. They'll get it. They'll be like, oh, these are just artists.
Yeah.
Oh my
These
god.
are simply artists.
And like I said at the beginning,
Yeah.
it's going to go off the rails.
Yeah.
It has many times.
Greg, you know
Yeah.
what? You know what didn't get any talk, but it made me laugh so hard. Was the fake demo that you did?
Oh, yeah,
in
Spike.
the Christmas special.
Well,
That
I
thing
mean,
is so.
That's so funny.
So it's worth talking about that. So the Christmas special, I was so nervous about doing that Christmas special.
Oh, I thought you were saying I was so drunk.
I was so traumatized. We'll talk about that demo in a minute, but
I can empathize with that feeling.
you know, Scott Alexander and Dan Harlan obviously
Legend.
set the tradition for the Penguin Holiday Specials.
They're the best.
They are the
yeah,
best.
yeah.
And I remember you speaking to me at Magic Live and saying, you know, we're bringing it back. Do you want to be a part of it? And I was like, yes, while secretly, internally going, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. Because I just knew there was no way I could win. Because people would compare that to Scott and Dan. And there's no way I can compare. I can't hold a candle to Scott Alexander or Dan Harlan. Absolutely not a chance. Because those they were so funny.
And Scott's your hero.
Scott is my hero, yeah.
He's
Yeah, he's
your.
awesome.
I remember asking you this. Oh, I got to get something out of you. That's
Go on.
crazy. But I remember asking you your favorite magician was, and you thought about it for a second. You're like Scott Alexander.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Scott Alexander.
And
Chris just checked to make sure this is still filming.
Yeah, just making sure.
We're going good. Yeah, and Scott Alexander, yeah.
yes. Okay, so I want to get something out because your viewers, they're probably not watching this far anyway.
Oh, they
But,
will.
your viewers would probably love to hear the insane way you got into magic. Have they heard it?
I think I talked about it once on a Q&A. Do you know the story?
No, I don't.
No, you can hear it from first. It's insane.
Really?
Yeah, so I got into magic when I was a redcoat at Butlins. Now, redcoat at Butlins is like a holiday destination in the UK.
Butland?
Butlins. It's like a big camp. Imagine a summer camp, but
Yeah.
not for kids, but for families.
Okay, family at Butland.
And the people that did all the entertainment wore red coats, and they were called redcoats. So I had no interest
It's a
in
great
magic.
name.
Yeah, I had no interest in
Redcoats
magic.
are coming.
The redcoats at
Yeah,
Butland.
basically is what it was.
Yeah.
So I had no interest in magic, but I was interested in performing.
Yeah,
So I was working as a redcoat at Butlins. And while I was there, I met a magician called Ulysses.
Okay.
And I fell in love, not with him, but with magic.
Yeah,
And,
cool name too. He sounds like a
yeah, he
was
What's
the name again?
Ulysses.
Ulysses. He was a badass
Ulysses?
motherfucker. Yeah, he was great.
Ulysses?
Ulysses. Yeah,
Ulysses.
Ulysses.
He sounds like a mermaid.
He sounds like a magician.
Yeah, he sounds like a
Look,
real
look, I got obsessed with magic watching him, and you didn't get paid much working at Butlins, but every penny I made for the entire summer, I basically spent it on magic tricks.
Nice.
And I found a magic shop that sold shitty tricks, and I was just buying all of these.
Yeah.
And I kind of got into magic that way. And for the next year, I kind of dabbled, but I was shit at everything. I couldn't even hold a pack of cards.
Yeah.
Some say you still are.
And to all of those people that say that, create with year 3 years in a year, fuck off.
Fuck off, haters. We hate the haters. We're blocking out the haters. You're
But
blocked.
no, I was so shit. And I used to just have a big collection of plastic crap.
Oh,
and,
yeah. Hell yeah. That's the
and
best.
then in the UK,
Some paraphernalia.
yeah,
Yeah.
just loads of it. And the one trick I was good at was dynamic coins, like diamond pens. You know?
Yeah.
So that was the one trick I could do well. Now, in the UK, we have something called Camp America. So Camp America is an organisation where if you are sort of aged between 18 and 25 or whatever, you can go and join Camp America, and they will fly you over to an American summer camp to work there over the summer, and then you can backpack around afterwards. You get a visa for like 2 or 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah, it's called Camp America. And I was like, I want to do this. So I really want to do this. So the way that you got into Camp America was to go to London, and they had this big trade show type thing. Every single summer camp was there. And in order to become a counsellor, You've got to pitch, you've got to find summer camps, pitch them, and then they'd say, yeah, we're going to give you the opportunity, and then they'd pay you virtually nothing, but they'll pay you flights. And it was, I just love the idea of going over to the States and just working in the summer camp.
Yeah.
I thought that was amazing. The only problem is, I had no talent whatsoever. And they were looking for like sports people that were really good at football, or people that were really good at juggling. There was somebody that was really good at whatever.
Like some kind of physical.
Yeah,
or
I
like
was shit at everything.
Yeah.
And then
I can relate.
I saw this one guy, and he had this summer camp. He was this summer camp, really expensive summer camp actually, and it was called the Performing Arts and Sports Centre, and it was in Storuca, in Pennsylvania, up in the Poconos. And you have to pay a fortune to send your kids there, right? And I went up and I was like, hey, and I saw that he was like, we're looking for magicians. I'm like, so I was like, I went over and I was like, yeah, I think I'd be a good fit. Luckily, he owned the summer camp, but he knew fuck all about magic. So he was like, well, show me a trick then. And I did dynamic coins. I did that really well. And he's like, oh, you're amazing. You're in. And I was like, brilliant. I come my way into this.
For the folks at home and also myself, what is dynamic coin?
It's in the UK, it's called dynamic coins. You will know it as the little brass caps with the quarters in it.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Diamond and pence, I think you call it, or something.
Diamond penny or...
Wait, are you talking about nickels to dimes?
Nickels to dimes.
Nickels to dimes. That. Yeah. So I was really good at that.
Yeah. So
I did that, and I blagged my way in. So I got onto this summer camp.
Which do that trick over.
So I didn't realise. Here's the problem. I didn't realise how big magic was at this place.
Yeah.
So they flew. That I went over, and all the counsellors got there around about 3 weeks before the kids arrived. Just so we could get everything ready and acclimatise ourselves. And they actually had a magic, like, it was such a big performing arts event that like, it was huge. They have, like, full circuses and everything. And they had an entire building just for magic. And the kids that were going to this summer camp were, like, prodigies. Of, like, and they had a director of magical studies.
This is actually really, really complex.
And the director of magical studies.
It gets better.
Was Brad Henderson.
Yeah.
Don't know how well you know Brad.
Penguin Live's Brad Henderson.
Brad Henderson?
Really? Yes.
Now Brad was the director of magical studies.
Okay.
Every summer he would run the magical program, and because of his connections, he'd be getting incredible people in to do guest spots and everything.
That's cool.
And I don't know how well you know Brad. He doesn't suffer fools gladly. Now, here's the problem. I remember the first day going into this room, and there were 5 magicians there. Brad, 4 others, and me.
Yeah.
Now, I can't tell you who each one of them were, but I will tell you one of them was Brian Brushwood. That was the level.
No way.
That was the level of
way.
counsellors that they had teaching there, right?
No way.
Yes, way.
And then
So,
you're like,
here's the problem. I remember, like, everyone was chatting, and I was just thinking, I can't believe I'm here. This is awesome. And then Brad said the thing that I really hoped he would never say, and he did. He's like, right, okay, before we start, let's all show each other a trick. And so they were all doing these incredible things.
Yeah.
Brian took out a pack of cards, and everybody was doing incredible stuff.
Right.
And then it came to me last. And they gave me a pack of cards. I didn't even have a pack of cards. They gave me a pack of cards and they go, do a trick. I went, I don't know any. I don't even know how to hold a pack of cards. Okay, what are you going to do then? And I pulled out my little dynamic coins, my nickels and dimes. And immediately, Brad realised that he'd made a fucking massive mistake because he couldn't send me back, and I was stuck at this summer camp. He was stuck with me, and I knew fuck all. I was less than useful as a counsellor. I knew nothing. And they couldn't get rid of me. They couldn't send me back, so they were stuck with me. So everybody had their own little department. One was mentalism, one was cards, one was stage illusions, Brad oversaw everything. So, and this is why I'm a coin guy and I do so much coin magic. Brad decided to put me in charge of coin magic. And I was like, Brad, I don't know any coin tricks. He's like, don't worry, you've got 2 weeks to figure it out. And he literally locked me in a room with a copy of Super Magic, Bobo's, and one other, and I can't remember which one it is. And he's like, here's some $50, learn this.
From a book?
From a book. From a book. I mean, at the end of the...
Wow.
Yeah, so I was learning this shit with the campers at the same time. They were better at coin magic than me because they'd been coming every year and like they knew some incredible stuff. So I was learning it from them and like teaching it. And I got to the end of like the entire summer camp, which was like, what, 3 months or something.
Yeah.
I actually ended up at the 3 months really good at coin magic.
Right.
Really, really good. And I remember Brad saying to me at the end, he actually gave me a gift. He gave me the VHS tapes. This is how far back it was. The VHS tapes of Michael and Mars Easy to Master Coin Magic Tours. and
that's fire.
Yeah, and that is how I got into magic. And I wouldn't genuinely be here now if it wasn't for Brad Henderson. And he could have very easily have got rid of me and cut his losses, but he didn't. And I ended up but for the first 3
That's a good heart.
For the next 3 years after that, I didn't do any magic other than coin magic. I was really fucking good at coin magic, but I didn't do any other types of magic at all.
Yeah.
It was just coin magic that I did.
Yeah.
Which is an unusual way to get into magic.
Way unusual. Usually it's cards first, right?
Yeah, because with cards you've got instant gratification.
Yeah.
You can do self-working card tricks, even if you don't know how to hold a pack of cards. You can do something.
Yeah.
But with coins, you can't.
You got
to be able to palm. You got to be able to do.
You got to do your muscle press. You got to do your JW grip.
Yeah.
And we look on this channel. We love Brad
Henderson. Brad is
Yeah.
one of my favorite people.
And a lot of people I feel would be like, no, you're going back there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how I would feel about it. I would be like, okay, maybe you can do a little bit of mentalism or something.
And at Magic
Wait, give him the mentalism.
And I haven't
Give
seen,
me the mentalism, whatever.
and I hadn't seen Brian Brushwood for years.
Yeah.
For years. And then last year at Magic Live, or the year
Oh,
before
no
last at
kidding.
Magic Live,
Okay.
he came up to me and he sat. He was a dick to me, by the way.
Oh, really?
Rightfully
Was that it?
so, he was a dick, because he didn't understand why I was there. He was like, why the fuck is this guy here? He's shit. Like, pick any one of the campers and they could do a better job than him. And he was right. So he was a bit of a dick to me. And he sat down with me, we had a beer at Magic Live a couple of years ago, and he was like, I just want to say I'm sorry. I was like, don't be sorry, man. There's nothing to be sorry for. I was shit. I did not deserve to be in that situation.
Brian Brushwood was there too, like the king of like he was. I bet he was like, dude, just watch some of my videos. I got a whole YouTube channel. Was he even making
he was young then. He was like 17, 18.
Oh, wow.
It was before like he started doing the
that's
scam school
nuts.
and stuff.
That's nuts. Yeah, like baby Brian. Was he spiked
And he was-
up?
he
he
was-
spiked at the time?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he was like Brad's little protege. So he was like Brad's like
Because they're Texas guys.
yeah. So
And this was in Texas?
No, in the
Pennsylvania.
Poconos.
Okay, Poconos. Sorry.
So, it's. I wonder why they didn't have Brad being the person you auditioned for. You know?
I don't think they realised that somebody would try and scam their way in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that they thought that if somebody offered to be a magical counsellor, they figured that person would actually know about magic.
Yeah, and the nickels to dimes is a great trick.
It is, and it makes you look better than you actually are.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of tricks do that, and
Thank God.
Yeah, I know.
Thank God.
Yeah. Because not everyone's trying to be a
man.
camp counselor. Right? Some people are just like, I want to show my kids some cool magic.
So there you go. That's how.
You have one of the craziest magic origin stories.
That's insane. Yeah, you both have crazy origin stories.
I mean, I guess
I just wasted
yeah.
mine. Like you guys both have crazy origin stories. I just wasted mine on YouTube. Like I was just like, oh wow, this and that trick. That looks good.
And, David J. Castle.
Yeah, I love me some David J. Castle. Shout out to David J. Castle. I'm trying to find you. I want to find you. Email me. You can follow me on Venmo. Follow me on Cash App. Follow me home. I really do like David J. Castle. I remember there was. I remember your Silk Through Neck video.
Do you know who he's talking about?
You know David
Never
J.
heard
of him.
You remember LaurenMagicTricks.org?
No.
He was the king of LaurenMagicTricks.org.
Oh, wow.
There was a forum back in the day. There was a lot of videos. It was just basically just like low-level piracy for Magic.
Yeah.
But I feel like Magic slightly.
It's
needed
how a
that.
lot of people your age have got into Magic and
Yeah.
got good technical.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
and
actually
I wonder
on that
who would use
subject.
it. Yeah.
What do you guys think of YouTube? I've had a lot of people on
Oh,
my
yeah,
channel
oh, yeah.
recently say the internet is killing Magic. YouTube is
Really?
killing Magic.
Yeah.
A lot of people
This is
say YouTube. You might have seen something going on about it in Magicians Only on Facebook
Yeah.
recently, but basically, a lot of people are saying the internet is killing Magic
Mm-hmm.
because secrets are so easily accessible.
Mm-hmm.
Like one person told a story of them doing Keymaster at a gig, and then the guy searched moving hole on a key and came up with a video of Keymaster.
No way.
And he's like, look, this is how it's done. And it's like, people are saying the internet is killing Magic. YouTube is killing Magic because people can go on YouTube and search for how any trick's done. Oh, I like that trick where the card came to the top of the deck. Let me go on YouTube. Card comes to the top of the deck and they'll see a tutorial for it. Do you agree? My attitude, just so you know where I'm coming from, I don't think it kills Magic at all. I think if people are looking for the secret, either A, they'll forget that secret 2 minutes later,
Yeah.
or B, they'll get interested in it and they'll become a magician.
Yes.
And there's so many people like you
Yeah.
that have got into Magic through YouTube. You know, we could have the next FISM World Champion start off as somebody who got in through YouTube. But I'd love to know what you guys think.
Like to speak to the person like looking up the trick and be like, this is how it's done. The world's most synonymous trick is so easy to look up X on hand, and like the people just gonna look it up and see it's a product and buy it, right? And what's funny is if someone's gonna do that, they're gonna do that anyway. Most people, how many people are gonna do that to you? Not very many. So the ones that do it, doesn't matter. It's like, oh, okay, you just got a little intel, that's fine. I think that usually people are gonna look at Keymaster and be like, wow, you're a wizard, how do you do that? They wouldn't even have the thought to think it's something that you can look up, right?
Yeah.
All YouTube on Magic's gonna do, and free YouTube Magic, is just gonna help people learn. And I think there's too much gatekeeping for the basics, and even beyond the basics, for what people can learn for free. Because if we want our art to progress, we gotta have people learning the basics and learning not even just sleight of hand, but also gimmick making, because it's integral to following up magicians and making them really, really good. Now, it's obviously products are very, very important for the community and for artists and for just like people getting their physical stuff out there, because there needs to be a place for that. But it's very integral that people have a grounding and people have an understanding of how to be a great magician and how to have good taste in magic. So it's very integral.
Yeah, the YouTube stuff is. I mean, it's not like you can go on YouTube and. I think the people who are saying that don't realize that you can't just go onto YouTube and find out the secret to double cross. There's really not a lot of that kind of stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
It does exist, but it's not really there.
Yeah.
The things that are being shared on YouTube are self-working tricks, little science experiments, stuff like that. I'm not saying it doesn't. Now, occasionally some people put someone's trick on one of those videos that they didn't want to be there.
I'll say this. I'm calling y'all folks out. The people who are just snidely revealing these tricks on a YouTube short. And if you're those are the ones that listen, one sandwich short of a picnic. Because you can't.
What the fuck is that saying?
because they're dumb.
I get what it means.
If you can't like do your own art and just like reveal, and not even for someone else to perform it, not to actually genuinely teach it, but just to be snide, like you're not cool. You just want money. Yeah, you're not cool.
I agree. I can't believe we've got back into Rick Lax again. But that's
well, I even say that. So yeah, I mean that too. I think he's actually honestly some of the least of the offenders, because I rarely get offended by, like, I don't see too much Rick Lax videos nowadays.
No.
However, I do see Justin Flom's videos, and while he does reveal stuff, he also, there's a lot of credit. I think I could give to him for those house videos.
Actually
kind of cool. They're kind of cool.
I've grown to like a lot of Justin's stuff.
Me too.
I don't like when he reveals something, and I'm still going to hate that forever. But a lot of the videos he's putting up now is, hey, I built a trapdoor in my house. Hey, I did this. Hey, I did that. And I find that stuff kind of interesting.
I think if it's done in a snide way, then it's like I'm so out of this. But if it's in an instructional way, or if it actually pushes Magic forward in a very creative way, because like I'll say this, he revealed remember the old turn of the head illusion. Yeah, he revealed that, but he made it electric. So he put a little bucket and a box over it, and had this like electric version of it. But revealed it, and it's fine to me because it's fun. Like, it's fun.
So the YouTube exposers and Instagram exposers, right? Usually they're showing tricks with they're always showing tricks that are easy, visual, and something that you can show in like 3 seconds, right?
Yeah.
How the secret works, right? But those are all tricks that you have to buy, right? They're not. That's a lot of times I'm seeing tricks that people aren't even doing. You know, it doesn't kill magic. You know, the likelihood that someone's going to see that and then see you perform, it's just so small that it's not worth getting upset about. I think the bigger issue is not now, but will be is ChatGPT.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because you can really get all the answers you want.
Do you think
for magic tricks?
Do you think ChatGPT gets the ethics of magic and selling magic in a community?
No, they don't.
Do you think at some point it'll have to?
No, we're not influential enough. Like
I think we can influence
to influence. No, they're just. I don't know anything about AI. What I understand is just gathering information from all over the world. Everything that's been written.
Yeah.
That's all it cares about. Is giving the correct answer.
Yeah.
Because I know people do that. They'll look up like, hey, how does double cross work, and it'll be clearly written in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But what
Imagine
person's going to do that? It's the only people that it's exposing it for are magicians that are like, well, yeah, I guess I don't need to buy that trick now. Or whatever,
Yeah.
You know?
And if a layperson looks up, even on AI, how to do a trick, they're just going to go, oh, okay, cool. And then 2 days later, they're going to forget it. Like you talk about short form content being exposed, like people expose stuff on reels and shorts and stuff. They're not going to remember that 2 days later. Can you remember a reel that you looked at 2 days ago that wasn't to do with magic? People just go, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, it's true.
You forget it 30 seconds later.
Yeah, they forget it. Yeah.
They won't remember.
There are some that are impactful though. I feel like here's a good example. This is kind of an old example, but still a goodie. Like Dana Garcia's Pressure. Dana Garcia's Pressure. That was exposed all over the internet as being like a challenge where you make your iPhone have a case.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, so it's like.
But even then, you could still do it in a gig, and
people would not realize and still be mind blown because no one's really remembering these things. We kind of oversell ourselves in that market, I think. But there are a few people that are memorable, like Jack Grady Magic. You know Jack Grady Magic.
Yeah.
Wonderful magic. You know, just uses his asshole for the magic. I think. Maybe it's not his asshole. Maybe I'm going too far there, but yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. I'd agree with that. I'd completely agree with that.
Yeah. But I mean, Instagram as a whole, and just short form revealing as a whole, crazy little rabbit hole that I think people really like. There's a reason why people make it. People watch it.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah.
So, before we wrap this up,
And he's back.
and he's back. Before we wrap this up, one last question.
Okay, 2 more questions.
Two more questions. What's the?
I'm addicted to it.
What's the? Do you, either one of you, or does Penguin Magic have any goals moving forward? What I mean by that is
no goals.
like you guys have basically dominated the marketplace.
Yeah.
Like, do you have? So first of all, do Penguin have any goals or aspirations moving forward? Is there something that you would like to see the company achieve, or would you like to see move in a particular direction, or something? Like, I'd love to know about that. And then secondly, both of you individually, like, I mean, you've both achieved so much. Like, let's not make two bones about it, Shaun. You are literally one of the most powerful people in Magic. You just are.
Yeah.
You
And he's a
literally-
Bitcoin millionaire.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised.
No, don't say that.
Don't say that.
Don't say that. Some guy. Did you hear that story?
Yeah.
That
What's
some guy was captured for 3 days and tortured
For his
for
Bitcoin.
his Bitcoin password.
Okay, I was actually lying about this. This guy has not a nickel to his name.
You've achieved so much. You've done so much. Both of you have.
Thank you.
So as a company, what do Penguin want to achieve moving forward? And individually, is there anything on your magical bucket lists that you guys want
Wow,
to achieve?
good question. Great question.
Okay. The Penguin side, I will say that, like, one of our big goals is to bring Magic to spaces that Magic normally isn't. Reach new types of customers.
That's good.
But do it in a responsible way. Get them trained in, you know, how to present Magic, the fundamentals, all that stuff. Which is a big reason why Penguin Live is there. It's a big reason why we have, like, experts like Nick Capo and Eric Tate teaching on YouTube, and teaching valuable lessons as well as just teaching the methods.
I will say on that subject very quickly before you carry on. There's been so many iterations of the face of Penguin Magic over the years. You know, we talked about back in the day with Oz and Jay, and moving forward, I think that the pairing of Nick and Eric is the best that you guys have ever had.
Yeah.
Even better than when Dan was here. And there's nothing against Dan. I love Dan to bits.
Oh,
but
yeah,
Eric and Nick are just amazing.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic. Legendary.
So that's a big goal, you know, just expanding and doing it the right way. But internally, like, we have a lot of different processes where we are always evaluating, like, how can we get better at this and how can we get better at that? You know, we're just trying to make even the small things, you know, like the quality assurance of checking gimmicks or whatever. Just trying to constantly, you know, see where we can tighten things and move forward. But the big one, I would say, we just want to get Magic out to places that, you know, where it's not right now, you know.
Right.
Really good. Really good.
Without selling out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very important. And what about individually? What about yourself, Shaun? I mean, if you retired today, your legacy is set.
So, like, Magic goals or
Yeah.
Okay. Well, like, Chris and I are working on a show.
Yeah.
I think, like, our idea for the show is to do something different. Everyone says that, but I was recently inspired by a comment by Cat Williams, the comedian. Okay. And he was talking to another comedian about developing better acts, and they were saying how, like, they didn't really care about the jokes, but they wanted the audience to know who they were and have a good understanding of who that person is, feel a connection with them. And Cat Williams' response was like, well, yeah, because nobody cares about a magician unless they're doing magic.
Yeah.
Right? So that it really kind of made me realize, like, yeah, magicians, like a rock and roll artist, generally you can understand what they stand for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Through their lyrics and their music, or a film director or something. All these different artists, like, but not with magic. You don't really have that thing generally, and it's okay because magic's fun, and it should be fun, and
that is okay. But Shaun and I take big influence with people like Norm Macdonald, or like Eric Andre. We want to bring a certain energy to Magic that I feel like Magic kind of hasn't caught up to, and that's kind of like, I don't want to say absurdist humor, but
Yeah.
a little bit of that, definitely a little bit of that. Yeah. So we got it going on, man. It's fun. When this show drops, it'll be.
Yeah. I love the fact that you guys.
Nuclear bomb.
I love the fact that you guys are always pushing to improve, like the show that you're putting on at the moment.
Yeah.
And you're putting together. Neither one of you need to perform.
Yeah.
And you're both going out there and doing it, and it's just amazing.
It's fun, man. It's fun to be able to push boundaries and be able to do something new. I've been working at a comedy club recently. That's been fun to just be very free and be able just to talk my shit, you know?
That's amazing.
But yeah, ultimately the goal is to be a better husband, father, and man of God. Man of God.
Yeah, so, I agree with that. I mean,
on the personal level, if I have time to have an awesome magic show, it would be a dream to do that. So.
That's great.
Yeah.
We both have anybody watching this probably realize we're both what is that term? Neurodivergent. Right?
Yeah.
You know, so communicating those messages when you have sort of a different thought process than a lot of people, that's the biggest challenge. You know.
Yes.
It's just because we get distracted by good ideas all the time.
Yeah.
And learning how to focus and be disciplined to not go so crazy with things, you know.
Yeah. Because I know I can fall into that.
That's the hard
very
part.
heavy. Yeah. But just because I don't know, more perfectionist.
But if we can figure that out, then what we have coming up with, I think it's going to be an incredible show.
Yeah.
Can't wait forward to see that.
Yeah.
What about yourself, Chris? Anything else other than the show?
As far as Penguin,
Bad bitches,
both.
Let's do both. Yeah, bad bitches, no bunnies on the daily. Come on now, be honest with me. So as far as my job, so as far as my position at Penguin, just making people happy, man. Making people happy, keeping the ball rolling. I'm doing a show right now. It's Magicians React. I react to magic videos.
You're doing that with Eric, right?
Doing that with Eric. It's fun. It's fun. The episode should be dropping tomorrow, day after, something like that.
That's great.
So I'm basically reacting to fun magic tricks that I find on the web, and then Eric shows some tricks too. And it's a good vibe. It's fun.
That's great.
Yeah. From there, just kind of getting my face out there, releasing more tricks. I got a lot of things in the chamber, man. I'm just drawing back that slingshot, drawing it back just to let people know what's coming soon. Because there's a lot of magic out there that I need to get people to know on too, you know?
Nice.
Yeah, it's fun.
You got anything with you?
Yeah. It's a podcast, so I bought Zens. You know, these already got
No,
in the UK.
what is that?
They're like nicotine. They're not good for you.
Okay. Oh yeah, I have seen those.
You've seen those, right? A lot of podcasters talking about them. But here's the bet, right? Watch the Zens, because all we gotta do is just give a little bit of cover, a little bit of a wave, a cast, and then a Comcast. They sponsor us, right?
Yeah.
You know? Okay. Cool. And then bada bing, we got Zens.
Nice.
It's a rain in Zens. Hallelujah. It's a rain in Zens. It's sensational, am I right? Yeah, it's fun. It's just a Dove pan. Yeah. Shout out to my Dove pan heads.
Yeah, but that would work with the gum that's packaged in this thing. Where
I think
they have
so.
a hinge.
I think it would be like not a normal way.
We don't need to workshop the trick.
We can workshop.
Sorry. My bad.
I love the fact that you've always got something that you're working on.
I always got it on me. I always got it on me.
Yeah, so they just saw the process of how a submission might go. He shows something, I make a suggestion, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. This is Unc, man.
Full circle.
Yeah. Making it the best it can be.
Yeah.
Ultimately, at the end of the day.
Can I take your vape? Oh! Whoa! What that look like, camera?
That was on camera, dude.
Damn, I know, I got caught. Ooh, I can't hear anything. I need a better reception.
Oh my God.
I need a better reception for this vape, man.
Oh,
Sorry.
man.
I need a better reception for this thing. Sorry, sometimes that happens with these things. With these dang.
Oh, yeah.
The amount of random stuff that you come up with, it's always brilliant.
Isn't it fun? I have so much fun with it. But yeah, besides that, doing my shows and honestly, I want to start YouTube up. So my thing is, I'm always jealous of your hunger and your consistency with content, and that's something I aspire to. It's insane. It's really inspiring to me because I really want to have that.
You know what the big secret is? People ask me how I can do so much stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's because I'm a little like what you saw before with the picture panic. I can do that with a YouTube video.
Yeah.
So I never plan anything. I never script anything. I'll sit there and I'll go, I've got a good idea for a video, and I'll literally sit down and I'll make it.
Yeah.
So I can sit in a room for a day and I can make like 20 long form videos on different subjects.
That's amazing.
I can talk about any subject confidently and make it sound like I know what I'm talking about.
Good.
So
yeah.
It's a stupid skill.
Yeah, no, it's a good skill, man. I wish I had it. I think it's so good, and to be able to do YouTube, and because we were talking about YouTube earlier, it's a great tool, man. It's a great.
It really is.
It's a great. I only watch YouTube. I fall asleep to YouTube. I fall asleep to the Angry Video Game Nerd, and we all watch cool things like YouTube Poop and things like that.
So YouTube's amazing.
Yeah, YouTube's great.
So before we close out, can I leave with some fun facts about you?
Let's do some fun facts. Yeah, absolutely.
Craig?
I have got one final question, but let's do the fun facts.
Yeah, 2 more questions.
I just took Craig to an amusement park, Kings Island in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yeah.
And Craig is terrified of roller coasters.
I hate them with a passion.
Really? Wow.
I'm truly terrified of roller coasters.
Yeah, and you still went on them?
Some of them.
Some of them,
And some of them I was like, see you later. Ryland Petty, off you go, have fun. They're thrill seekers, but me not so much.
Craig, another interesting fact I thought. Craig's grandfather was a professional boxer.
Not my dad, actually, yeah.
Your dad?
It was my dad that was a professional boxer.
Your dad was a professional boxer and a police officer.
Yeah, police officer.
Whoa.
Yeah, retired after being in the force for 30 years as a sergeant, but before he was in the RAF, and he boxed in the RAF, and then he came out of the RAF and carried on boxing. They called him Killer Petty. And he had a boxing career, and then he went into the police.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, which explains why you got that dog in you. You're a fighter.
You get that dog in you. Yeah. You get that fighter mentality.
Yeah, let's blame my dad on that one. I definitely think so, 100%.
Yeah. We gotta put you in the ring. I think Kim and Nicholas Lawrence that would be a good.
That would be that. Oh man, remember Celebrity Deathmatch?
Yeah.
See, that's the one thing cool about AI. We can imagine this.
We can
have Celebrity
right now.
Deathmatch with like Craig Petty and who's the recent guy?
The recent guy that I've got. I made up with David Laden from Unbiased Magic Reviews.
Oh, that guy.
I made up with him. I didn't interview him. I made up with him. I've made up with Luke Dancy. Made up with him.
Oh, really? Nice.
Made up
that
with,
I like.
Made up with Tim Trono.
Yeah.
Okay.
Haven't made up with Michael Webber, but you know.
Okay. Well, let's end the list there. But like Celebrity Deathmatch with you and
Michael Webber. Let's do that.
You can imagine that and do that, but that would be hilarious.
Michael Webber versus Craig Petty in a celebrity death match.
Yeah, you started going on that list of people. I was like, man, I almost forgot what I was talking about.
That's so good, man.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't Luke Dancy tattooed on you?
Yeah, right there.
That works.
I love Luke Dancy.
Yeah. Now it's true.
And it is true.
Yeah.
Me and Luke. Well, Luke, if you're watching this.
Luke heads. I'm a Luke head myself.
Love it. Love a bit of Dancy.
Little Dancy. Yeah.
What's his Taco Tuesdays?
Taco Tuesday.
All Things Magic. He has the All Things Magic.
For me, I just like tacos everything. Don't constrain me to one day.
Well, the P33 is 2 minutes away from a Taco Bell.
It is, not even 3 minutes. We're very close.
It's right next door.
Yeah. We all get Crunchwrap Supremes and
amazing.
Have you tried
fire sauce?
Have you tried the chicken nuggets yet?
I tried them.
What'd you think?
You hyped them up a little too much. Maybe I got a bad night. I could have got a bad night, because that happens. But however, I do think those nuggets, I did see what you meant, but like, because you said it was real chicken, and I was like, I believe you. Taco Bell's fire.
Yeah. It's,
Well, I'm going to...
sponsored by Taco Bell.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Actually, we're getting paid. My new trick is actually Taco Bell fire sauce trick. We have Baja Blast for sale on the website. We have a listing for Baja Blast. we wouldn't lie to you.
Final question.
Yeah. Baja Blast.
No.
Okay, alright, okay. I want
to ask both of you, what's your favourite trick that Penguin has ever produced?
Oh, wow.
And as a follow-up question, why is it a Craig Petty trick? No, I'm just joking. So what's your favourite trick that's ever been produced in Penguin Magic?
Yeah. What's your Switch game one?
It's Level Up, yeah.
I actually really do like Level Up. I often notice that you'll like be like, oh, that one didn't, but that's a fire trick. I love it. It's
trick.
A great idea. Yeah.
I love that trick.
Yeah.
Ryland went on TV. We've got a big TV show for kids in the UK called Blue Peter. It's huge.
Yeah.
And he went live on Blue Peter a couple of weeks ago. They had him on, and he was doing part of his Harry Potter act.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Can you do some close-up magic afterwards?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'll do Level Up." That's his go-to.
Level Up is cool, man.
Yeah,
it's really cool. Yeah, it's sick. But favorite P3 production ever? Hard to say, to be honest with you. What comes to mind is kind of Snaps.
Snaps is iconic, man.
Yeah, Snaps is kind of there.
And put David Jonathan on the map as well.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. He's
Yeah.
awesome. Shout out to David. Vortex, amazing.
Great trick.
Right.
One of those things that
52
every single social media person has done that.
Yeah, for sure. 52 stunner. I can go on, but I mean, like, it's hard to say. It's really hard to say. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, those are a couple.
So we're saying like 52 stunner, snaps.
Yeah.
Roundabout.
I think about the stuff that I will pull off the shelf and be like, yeah, I'm doing that.
Both great tricks.
Yeah.
What about you? Sure.
I would. So mine are usually like connected to experiences, you know. So they don't have as much to do with the tricks, you know. It's just the experience of filming that, and being around that person, and the things we did after the shoot and everything. But if I had to say the one that like meant the most to me in the history of like paper crane and everything would be Cypher.
Yeah, Cypher.
Yeah, B. Smith.
Yeah,
B.
yeah.
Smith,
Cypher,
yeah. Cypher's great.
Because that
Yeah,
was our
Cypher's
first
amazing.
like physical product, that paper crane that really took off. You know?
Yeah,
And that
yeah.
we really learned how to manufacture something and make sure it's the quality assurance is perfect, and somewhere at home someone's like, well, why isn't mine? But it just taught us so much about the magic industry when we released that with paper crane. It was also one of our first releases.
Yeah, I had Cypher on the brand as well.
Yeah. Stick Wounded was another one. 'Cause it was our very first release, and it was like when we dropped that. Have you ever seen Wounded?
Wounded is great.
Wounded is great.
Yeah. When we dropped that, it was like people were like, it really made a splash in the magic industry. So I'd say those two, both B. Smith.
Yeah.
B. Smith was great. Was it you guys that produced that thing with the tattoo and the?
That was Illusionist.
Was it?
No.
Paul
Actually, it was Paul Harris and Illusionist released it, but it was really produced by our buddy Mike Geezy. Shout out to Mike Geezy. He made that trick. He produced that trick, and then he didn't make it, but he made the production and everything.
It's that trick that caused a feud
That's
between me and B. Smith and Justin Miller.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I remember me
'Cause
and
you hated
David
it.
Penn
Yeah.
reviewing it on the Wizard Pro Review, giving it a really negative review.
Yeah.
And we went a bit overboard with
Yeah.
the negativity.
Yeah.
And one thing I said,
Wow.
I'll never
That's a
forget.
proud moment for you.
I mean, we were overboard most of the time, but I'll never forget the stupidest thing I've probably ever said on camera, and for me, that's a big thing. Because I was like, the thing I hate most about this trick is the fact that you're drawing on your skin with Sharpie marker. Do you know that ink in a Sharpie, if it seeps into your skin, you could be poisoned, you could die. This trick could kill you. You could die. B. Smith, do you not care about the fact that you're killing your customers?
Yeah, yeah.
And then, looking back, it was the stupidest fucking thing to say. And that's when Justin Miller was like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's when B. Smith was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And that's when it all kicked off.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
Honestly, what if that was true? What if that was like all the way true? All these magicians dropping like flies because they're making predictions and being like, all right, so 27.
Every customer did.
Yeah.
It was a catastrophe. All these riser heads.
Yeah, is that actually true?
No. I
Okay,
don't know.
you just made it
I was
up.
just
Oh,
like,
So you were
bullshitting,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah,
It's
okay.
just, I don't know if it was bullshit. In my head, in Dave's head, it made sense, but like looking back, it was the stupidest thing in the world to say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of makes sense though. I believe that. I'd be like, oh yeah, Sharpie shouldn't be on skin.
And ironically, I then covered my body with ink.
Yeah.
You know?
Using real Sharpie.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
I can get this off.
You're demonstrating. You shouldn't write on it in your arm. It's
Yeah,
full of-
exactly. And we got a fucking Sharpie marker right there.
Want to know how much of a nerd I am? I remember the first time you started doing your tattoos because you were talking about this trick where you take a phone like tattoo and then put it right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, I think I'm gonna get a whole sleeve.
Oh
And
yeah,
then-
what was your first tattoo? Is
It was
I
this-
never ended up getting that, actually, in the end,
Oh, that's
ironically.
funny, okay.
The first one was that one. That's the Cube 3 Brundage mix. That was the very
Nice.
first one.
Oh
Nice,
wow!
nice.
So
Yeah.
they're all recent.
Yeah, they're not too. Yeah, I only started getting tattoos in 2018 was the first one.
Nice.
Wow!
Nice.
And
That's
then
pretty
you got
recent.
addicted to it.
Yeah, really addicted.
Yeah. I'm addicted too. Hey, which one is this? True or false? I got one right here. True or false?
True.
True. I don't know how you know. Hey, hey.
Nice.
Well, what can I say? Go either way.
That's
See, look,
lovely.
either way, right?
I love
You feel
that.
me? Yeah.
I love that. That's
Yeah,
great.
Joshua Quinn, dude.
Ah.
Joshua Quinn. It's true. Yeah.
And this is genuinely the final question, which is,
All right. Two
which is,
I'm addicted.
is there something? I mean, obviously, Penguin are working generally about a year or two ahead. Like, I just had Credit Swipe came out. We filmed that in 2022.
Whoa.
Like, and it's only just come out. Like, a lot of the stuff, when people see it, it's been shot way before.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there something coming out this year? You don't have to say much, but is there something coming out this year that's just like you're super excited for people to see?
You know what? For a long time, and this did come out, just recently come out, because I was going to just mention it, because it is one of my recent creations for the last 10 years, is Fabian's Invisible Harmonica. I love that. I do that in my comedy clubs, and I end up with a spot like playing a vape, and then I hit the vape, and I'm like, oh, you guys want? It's pretty fun. It's so good. So that was in development for a long time, for like years and years and years. So that's a good example.
That's a
of
good
that.
shout. That's
But
a good shout.
yeah, but as far as like anything that hasn't come out yet, there's a couple like technology based things.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Some fun stuff. I will say I am most excited about multiple Tobias.
Oh
Those
yeah.
stories.
Oh,
yeah.
well, we've just
Oh,
you've just
yeah.
dropped a big one there, and
Yeah,
that
yeah,
Tobias is now working with Penguin.
Yeah, that was.
Not exclusively or anything, but
No,
yeah,
not
yeah,
exclusively,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
I mean, you know, and can we say that he has shot a Penguin live that will be coming out at some
Yes.
point?
Yeah, yeah, that's gonna be insane, man. Dude, he was dropping bombs on us.
I always know. I tend to come to Columbus just after they've had a huge name that has influenced them.
Yeah.
So like when Mario Lopez came to Penguin, I literally came the day that Mario left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody was drinking these Calimocho drinks. Everyone
Yeah.
at Penguin was like, "Oh, Mario is so cool," and they were all drinking this Calimocho drink
Yeah.
that Mario.
I'm gonna put people on. So Mario had come to us with amazing information. You take 50% Coca-Cola, 50% red wine. You mix them together over ice. You get a delicious drink called Calimocho.
Yeah.
I sip on these. I do sip on these. I be sipping on Calimocho.
Yeah.
And it's very good. It's delicious.
Delicious. Sounds disgusting. It is not disgusting.
It is not disgusting.
Well, obviously I've just come here now, and Tobias has just left.
Yeah.
And everybody's raving about Tobias.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, "Oh my God, Tobias is amazing."
It's great, dude. And you know what's funny is he just drank beer, so we didn't get any kind of drink. we didn't get a drink recipe from it. But I was asking him though. He just was like, "Yeah." Dude.
Yeah, but his stuff is so.
It-
He really is probably the top creator in the world right now.
Yeah. You should see his work with
I
cum.
I think
There's a lot of cum magic. It's really crazy. Yeah, lots of cum. Yeah. Should I talk about cum? I don't know.
No.
Probably not. I don't know.
Him and Mario, I think, are 1A and 1B. For me.
Yeah.
They're Mario Lopez.
And Crazy Sam.
I do want to clarify one thing you said. A lot of time that if the release is 2 years later for your stuff.
Oh, the reason it's like, I don't want, actually.
It doesn't take that long to
No,
put a drip.
I don't want people to think you come to Penguin and 3 years later you get released. The reason that happens with me is because every time I come to Penguin, I film like about 12 projects.
Yes.
So,
we filmed the most.
and you can't have a Craig Petty trip coming out every single week.
No.
You got to stagger this shit.
Yeah.
So
you got some fire coming.
So there is a bunch of stuff that's filmed that will be coming out over the next 2 or 3 years. But
actually, your next input into a series of yours to us is going to be a banger.
I don't even know.
Series, a very series where you unlock doors with a certain item. Where you unlock doors.
Oh, right. Well, we've got 3 of those that we filmed. There's the.
Okay, whoa. Okay, all right.
And then there's the.
That looks like it hurts.
That's Well, hopefully that'll come out soon. That's exciting.
That's good.
Yeah, but the point is, there's a lot of amazing stuff coming out.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna wrap this up now.
Yeah.
If anybody is watching this, you've talked about how to become an artist at Penguin. You've talked about how to pitch a product to Penguin. You've also talked about how it's a wonderful family environment and everybody loves working here and so on and so forth. If somebody has a burning desire, they're a young kid, they're 16, 17, 18 years old, they're doing what Chris did, they're watching YouTube, they want to work with Penguin. How do you get on your radar in terms of getting a job here? Because you have a big team of people here. I mean, you see the P3 Theatre at head office. There's this big area which is like you've got a bunch of gimmick goblins in there. They're just people that are making gimmicks all the time.
Yeah.
You've got so many people working at Penguin. How can they get on your radar in terms of getting a job?
Yeah. I mean, they can email me, send a resume. I mean, we hire frequently. There are positions at Penguin that you can do remotely, like some of our customer service people do that. But just like a normal job, just send a resume. If your resume is your magic, then send that too.
Also, if you're from Columbus, Ohio,
it makes it a little bit easier.
It makes it a little easier,
Yeah.
But and if you want to do something that we don't have a department for, then that would be sending us a pitch. Like, hey, you guys should do this, and I'm the guy to do it, or I'm the person that could change this in your company or whatever. We always love hearing new ideas.
I love the fact that you're always open to improve.
Yeah.
You never rest on your laurels. You never just go, right, okay, you know what? We're at the top. No one can touch us. We're going to relax.
Yeah.
Because, you never do that. You always look for how to grow, how to improve, which is great. And on that subject, are we ever going to see another Penguin convention again? Because obviously you did the Max Expos, and they went away because of COVID. You were doing them quite regularly before COVID, and then that went away, and we've not seen anything since. You see a lot of production companies that aren't anywhere near as big as Penguin, like Vanishing Ink had a session, for example. Alakazam have just announced their first convention. You know, there's conventions
Yeah.
now more than ever are popular, really popular. Are we going to see a penguin convention?
Well, we used to have the traveling ones that,
Yeah.
that a lot of people went to. Those probably won't be coming back. But we've talked about doing a convention, but the thing is, like, we would never do it unless it was, like, really special.
Yeah, it had to be the best. And
I
that's-
would want to see a penguin
And-
convention with all of the like. I'd
Yeah.
want to see Rick Lax there.
Mhm.
I'd want to
Yes,
see. I'd
yeah,
want
yeah,
to
yeah.
see
Jay
Oz
Noble-
Perlman
Jay
there.
Noblezada.
I'd want to see Jay Noblezada there.
Yeah.
I'd want to see all
Alvo
of the
Stockman.
icon. Alvo Stockman, get him out of the
Yeah.
woodwork.
Yeah.
Like everybody. I'd like to see a convention where you see the entire history of Penguin Magic all there on the
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah, that'd be insane, and that would be a killer convention. There would be. I don't think there's anything else like that. That's
No.
that like kind of is celebrating this very staple of magic. I don't think there's anything else like that. And,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
if that were to exist, very good. But who knows?
Yeah, if you can get a jar to give you an interview.
Well, that would involve
would-
me even speaking to the motherfucker.
Yeah. I think it'll be. I think that would be very interesting. I'll mention it to him. So.
Yeah.
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 It's so cool.
If you're watching this, Ajar, make it happen.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
We want to see a penguin convention.
Live events.
And
I have a convention behind.
I
the,
hope he's
deck.
not watching this.
Yeah, exactly. I think what's funny is like this is a good mix of goofs and biz.
Yeah.
Goofs and biz.
Yeah. I think this has been one of my favourite interviews to do. I mean, I
Yeah.
rarely do them in the flesh, which I've
Yeah.
done with you guys.
Yeah.
And also, it's wonderful to see, you don't really talk about Penguin Magic. Nobody ever talks about the history of Penguin Magic. You know, nobody even know. You're this name that everyone talks about. Shaun Dunn. Who's Shaun Dunn? Who's Mandy Roth?
Yeah.
You more so, because obviously you're very prevalent on social media.
Right.
But Mandy and Shaun, you don't really see them very often.
No.
Yeah.
And to hear from both of you guys about Penguin and how
Yeah.
Paper Crane became Penguin and how the company operates and what is happening moving forward, this has been an incredible interview.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
I hope people appreciate it. I kept thinking the whole time, but like, it's gotta be boring as hell for people.
This has been fascinating for me. It really has. Now, if people want to obviously, you all know, but if you don't know, if you've been living under a rock, it's penguinmagic.com, obviously. I don't even know why I'm saying that, but it's penguinmagic.com. And if you want to speak to Shaun about anything, it's Shaun@penguinmagic.com, obviously.
And let me say this: if anybody wants to like give the gift of learning magic to people, refer them to our free materials on
Yes.
the page. The
Yeah.
front, right on the front page, like that beginner DVD is such a good tool to give to someone that really wants to become a magician.
I saw his promo one.
Yeah. And
then the
updating.
black one also is very
Yeah.
good.
There's so much free material on our provided by us on Penguin and other creators that is a great resource for people
Oh, absolutely.
that are learning magic.
Absolutely. You can get so much free stuff from Penguin.
Yeah.
And if you want to follow Chris on social media,
Yeah, you can follow me at the ATL Magician. You can see videos of me sleeping on my front page. That's all. That's my.
Well, that's
that's the only content I post.
Can I end with the last fun fact?
Yeah.
go ahead. Hey, yeah. What you
Okay.
got?
Craig can fall asleep within like a minute. Anywhere,
Yeah, I'm so
anytime,
Okay.
anytime he wants.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
I was at a magic convention a couple of weeks ago, and I was on the dealer booth. It was a smaller convention, so the dealer booths were in the same room as where the lecturers were.
Yeah.
So there was this lecture on, and within like 30 seconds I'd fallen asleep. And Chris Congreve had taken a bunch of pictures and put them online.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't believe you fell asleep at the booth. Yeah, I can fall asleep anywhere. I remember falling asleep when I was like 19 years old. I'd gone to a club, It was the 90s, and I'd gone to a club, and I fell asleep sitting on the speaker. That's the third weirdest place I fell asleep. I also fell asleep standing up on a bus. I literally fell asleep standing up. I was holding the thing.
Standing up?
Standing up on a bus. Standing up on a bus. That was.
I'm so jealous of this power you have.
I was so pissed at him. I was on a flight. He got in. You know how they do like Class A or Class 1 goes in, right? So he went in before me, right, on the plane. I went in the group, the next group that came in. He was already asleep on the plane.
Mm-hmm.
As I passed him, I was sat behind him on the opposite row, and he slept the entire flight. When we landed, he woke up, and it was a miserable flight too. Like,
it was a bumpy road.
Yeah.
That's
from the time he sat down to the time he left the flight, he was asleep the entire time.
Yeah. It's true. I've fallen asleep in some very, very, very bizarre places. Yeah, I can fall asleep in like.
Craig is the most woke guy in Magic for this reason. He's so awake all the time.
I do an illusion show, obviously, and I don't do this anymore. I'm not in shape to do this anymore, but I used to finish the show with the sub trunk.
Oh, nice.
And so I'd get locked up inside the sub trunk and change places. And this one time, I fell asleep in the sub trunk.
No.
On stage, fell asleep. And there's Ross, who I did it with, Ross, my business partner, and he's standing on top of the sub trunk, and he's just looking down, waiting to do this change, and he's like, what the fuck is going on? And he goes, boom, 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 with his foot, and then I just open the strap, and I'm like, what's up? Oh shit!
That is great. That's a cozy sub trunk. That's so fun. I believe, dude. That's hilarious. Wow, what a superpower. Yeah. That's great. Yeah. Wow. Man, falling asleep in the sub trunk.
That's anyone who's seen me at a Magic convention will know that. I mean, they will see me in the bar asleep.
Yeah. In a sub trunk.
No, sometimes in a sub trunk.
In the middle of the convention, in a sub trunk.
Can you imagine waking up to that and no one's there? Like you're like
to the audience.
It'd be terrifying just to wake
up. Every time I wake up, I'm terrified, and I have to do that in front of an audience. I'm like, whoa,
man!
Yeah, that's good.
And when someone wakes you up, right?
Yeah, but whoa.
That's, Craig does though.
Yeah.
We had a party at the P3 theater thing, kind of fun thing about living here. Like we have like a projector, like movie theater projector screen in the theater, and we can watch movies there and have a movie night and everything.
We hang out at this theater. we chill. It's our place to hang. You know?
Craig, music, the movie was playing. It was loud. We were all laughing, telling jokes during the movie and everything. And Craig's asleep. Like 30 minutes into The Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
And Dalton kept saying, like, dude, I bet you if we start talking about magic, Craig will wake up. And Dalton was like, yeah, man, check out my second, dude. And just like that, Craig's like, oh.
That's so good.
Yeah, that's how you wake me up. You talk about magic. That's what I'm interested in.
He eats, breathes, and sleeps magic.
Yes, you're a love for magic.
Yeah.
And it speaks in your work, brother.
And that's why people love Magic TV.
Thank you.
Yeah. Magic TV rocks, dude. Yeah. You heard it here. Not the first time, not the last time. Magic TV fucks.
Okay.
Yes, that's good. Let's say that.
Yeah.
I'm ending it now. Just can you tell us? We talked earlier on about the Penguin Holiday Special. It came back.
Yeah.
Last year. Phenomenal success.
Coming back.
Is there going to be a 2026?
Yeah. We want to make it a tradition. So
amazing.
what you guys can do to help that is, you know, go and talk about it online. Write reviews about it on the site. Write reviews about it on places like the Magic Cafe.
Magic Cafe.
Get it out there. That's the thing that'll make us want to do is if people just tell us that they want it. So
yeah, let us know if we want that.
But this time, don't bring Carissa. I'd rather have Lucy Darling. She's more talented. Bring Lucy instead.
Yeah, Lucy rocks.
Just have Lucy there. Lucy instead.
I'll tell you what. For this show, do you want to create a thing together and like make a little bit?
Well, we did our little rap song.
We did our rap. Yeah,
I think we need to go. We need to go next level.
Let's go next level. Let's mix the two. Let's do some crazy a live song. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, the Craig Petty rap, part of the Christmas special, very good. Yeah, with bars.
Like you talked about earlier, the fake demo.
yeah, I love the fake demo.
Yeah.
That was fun.
You punch him in the stomach, you're like, wake up!
Wake up, wake up, wake up!
Wake up!
And you're just like, I'm sorry, I'll never hurt you like that again.
Right, well, that whole demo, I think a lot of people miss this, but the funniest part in it, well, two funniest parts I thought is like when you said, it cured my fibromyalgia, right? And then the other one is something that Dalton added to, well, Dalton did the whole demo, of course,
yeah.
but he put, so it's a demo about the spiked coin trick, right? Going on and on and on about the spiked coin trick. And then Dalton put the words, props not included. For the spike. How would you possibly ever do it? You know, like,
Oh, it's so funny. A lot of that stuff was riffed as well.
Yeah.
I remember having to sit in that like really moody bar and actually performing that trick for Emma.
Yeah.
And just coming up with the presentation off the cuff.
Yeah.
And it was funny.
And then she got out of a toxic relationship.
Yeah,
well,
she got
yeah, like some making that presentation for that trick into something like, it just shows how going overboard with making the magic meaningful and important. You know, sometimes
I hate
you
it.
need to dial it back a little bit.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. I think this is gonna be something that's maybe gonna be a hot take. I think scripting is a little overrated for that exact reason.
Oh, I've said on this channel many times, I don't script.
Yeah,
But you guys know I don't script.
Yeah, that's right.
At all.
You don't need to.
I don't. Everything just comes off the top, and but it allows you to go with the flow. Like if you're heavily scripted, you're not going to be able to latch onto something somebody says and go in a different direction. You're
100%.
forced to, you're forced to go in that one direction because you have to stay on script. Whilst if you're kind of fast and loose with it, you hear something, you can move in a completely different direction. You can stop, have a conversation. Crowd work. Lucy Darling.
Yes,
There's a perfect example. Like she'll spend half of the show just asking people what they do, and that's the best part.
Yeah, and then just doing it over and over and over again. And just crafting her work in a way that makes it feel very in the moment, very, very punchy. And that's what I strive for, is just being in the moment, being punchy, and being a dynamic performer that doesn't have to stay to a script, but knows where the pile of things I need to bring to the audiences, and at what points do I need to bring these things in. It makes you a more dynamic and flowy character, if that's a character you want to be, I don't know. What can I say? It's fun.
Yeah. All right, man.
And on that, we're done.
We're done.
Honestly, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to follow Chris.
Hey, the ATL Magician. I actually don't have videos of myself sleeping. It's a lot of cool gimmicks, a lot of fun magic. I was on Kaisen at.
Your socials are super fun. If you haven't shopped from Penguin Magic, you've probably not watched this video, so don't worry about it. But Penguin Magic, the place to be. Make sure you shop from there, and you want to get involved with Penguin Magic in any way. Remember, Shaun at penguinmagic.com. That's the way to get a hold of him.
Yeah. I read every email. I watch every submission video. Sometimes I get a lot of them, so it can take a little bit to get time to get back to, but I respond to everybody.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for him to get back to me about a submission I sent in a month ago.
Yeah.
I'm not important.
Yeah. I remember that one. I think I got that one in my pocket right now.
Yeah, right?
I'm going to pull it out.
Shaun, thank you so much, brother. You're amazing. Yeah. Chris, you're amazing. We will be... Oh, look at this, cuddles. We'll be back again very, very soon with another episode of Magic TV, another Talk Magic. But until then, thank you so much for watching. I'm Greg, this is Chris, this is Shaun, and this has been Magic TV.